All right, folks, we welcome you back here to Dale's Weston Lanes here in Weston, Wisconsin. It is now time for team competition here in Divisions 1 and 2, boys and girls. Here are the Wisconsin State High School Championships. Again, sponsored, of course, by the Wisconsin High School Bowling Club and the BCAW Classic Products Storm as well. Certainly, what an opportunity, what a moment for several teams as we welcome back into the booth. ESPN Madison's Jesse Nelson will walk us through what is about to take place here in the next couple of hours. Jesse, obviously we switched from singles to team competition, Baker bowling in play. Always fun, always intense. And we talked about all of our matches truly coming down to the 10th frame in the singles competition. You anticipate that more, especially with the two-game total pinfall format.
Yeah, we switch up the format and we switch up the volume, no doubt, here at Dale's Weston Lanes as well, Emil. The 8:30 start after daylight savings time, singles competition, a little more subdued. Everyone's kind of a little more intense, bowling a full 10-game or a 10-frame game. That is not the case here for the team competition. It's fast, it's loud, and for many of these bowlers, you've been thinking about this since late yesterday, that you have 4 frames left to throw in some careers, but for sure in your season to potentially go win a championship. We have a few teams that are looking to bounce back and win championships again. We have a few teams that are trying to break through and win championships here in Wausau in 2026. So a lot of different storylines, a bunch of intriguing storylines in each of our matches coming up here, including here for Watertown and Waukesha North to lead us off in the Division II Girls Team State Championship. So that's our first matchup, the first of 4 to come our way. We see the purple and the blue filing in here, fans of these respective teams. It all comes down to this for the season for these respective bowlers, the coaches, the parents, and everybody involved with these programs.
And with that said, if you what stands out between this first match? Obviously, Waukesha has been such a very tough team and squad as a program for many years. Obviously, Watertown. I feel like every time I've been here, Watertown has been mentioned one way or another with respect to the team competition.
Well, basically, if you're looking for a storyline for this first match, it's the Battle of the Bridesmaids. Because we've got Watertown, who finished second here in 2025 last year, and we've got Waukesha North, who finished second in 2024. Both teams looking to get over the hump and contend for a state championship here in 2026. They're here. They're in the championship match. One of them is going to win it. One of them is going to finish second again. And for many of these bowlers that have been part of these programs for the last couple of years, there's some new faces. Some have graduated and moved on. But for everybody that's been involved for these runs, for these respective programs, you don't want to finish second again. You want to get over the hump. And both of these teams bring in the experience of knowing what it feels like to finish in second place, knowing what this feels like here on Championship Sunday. We talk at all levels of sports about how when you get into the playoffs for the first time, you get to that championship game or the finals for the first time, and it kind of takes one time maybe losing it to learn how to get back and go win it. Well, both of these teams have a chance to do that here this afternoon at Dale's Weston Lanes. That's the storyline for our first matchup here between Watertown and Waukesha North, 2 really good bowling programs. Watertown from District 6, which is kind of like the Dodge County general area, or the Beaver Dam region, kind of the south central part of the state. Watertown, a fantastic season, finished first in their district. They strike 43% of the time. Season average was a 185. They actually averaged less than that in qualifying, a 183 during the 15 games of qualifying. But that was good enough to secure the number 1 seed in this tournament. And here they are, bowling in the championship after falling to the Merrill Tomahawk juggernaut last year. Let's talk more about them in a second here when we bring in Waukesha North. 13-1 overall record, first place in their district, District 1 of the Division II girls teams. District 1 is so huge they divided into different divisions down there. Strike 39% of the time. They average a 174 on the season, well above that, a 182 average during the 15 games of qualifying. And they were the ones who finally dethroned Merrill Tomahawk last night. Merrill Tomahawk,
Oh, wow.
back-to-back championships. That's the team that beat both Watertown and Waukesha North in this championship match each of the last 2 years. And Merrill Tomahawk was the 5 seed, and they started running the stepladder last night. I could sense all these fans are like, oh, my God, are they going to do this again? Come on. Well, finally, Waukesha North said enough's enough. We're putting an end to this, and Waukesha North was able to take down Merrill Tomahawk in that stepladder semifinal last night. The two-time defending champion Merrill Tomahawk, they had comeback wins against Campbellsport and Beaver Dam to get to the semifinal. They came back. They were down after the first game of the two-game total pin count. They came back in both and won, got to the semifinal, and finally Waukesha North had a 245-167 lead after the first game. They're like, that's enough. We're good. Waukesha North is able to come now here into Championship Sunday, and one of these two teams doesn't have to worry about Merrill Tomahawk anymore. One of these teams is coming away with a state championship.
I got to tell you, when we get to the team competition, I think this is my favorite part. And we both have participated in high school bowl. Obviously, you in the state of Wisconsin, your alma mater took home a championship last year.
Yeah, Muskego.
The things that always stand out to me when we get to team competition is how the players communicate. Right, and I always talk about the leadoff player being so important. Now, obviously, whoever's bowling anchor, whoever's setting up the anchor, those players are extremely important. But that leadoff player really has a role. If they can get the team off to a good start, fill frames, the fill percentage metric will certainly come into play here for Baker competition. They can fill frames and give the team a good to decent read about what's happening on the lanes. That generally does breed success. So I'm very much looking forward to that part of it. And obviously how the coaches make adjustments, right? They will be switching lanes, right? We're using the 6 and 7, or lane 6 and 7. 6, 7, 6, 7. And they have used kind of the offsetting lanes, if you will, which I have really enjoyed from that aspect post-COVID. I like this part of the format. But each team is going to switch lanes, right? So there's also a little bit of paying attention to what's happening on that other lane. So when you get over there, you're not completely, kind of blind of what you're walking into over there.
We've seen comebacks of 80, 90 pins over the time that we've done
and
these.
I anticipate it to happen again.
Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible to come back if you're facing a pretty significant deficit. Heck, when I was in our district championship 16 years ago, we were up like 86 pins in the two-game total pin count for the district title, and we blew it. And so I know what it's like to be on the other end of that.
No lead is safe in Baker, especially in the total pinfall set.
I'd say 100 is safe, actually. I think 100 you're pretty good. Like if you're up, you win 250 to 150 first game, you're pretty good.
I always say, 80 pins is really the barometer, right? If it's less than 80 or 80 and under, you still got a good mathematical chance for sure.
But especially in this format, you go back-to-back open frames. Momentum is such a big thing in this Baker format. If you get cold in the middle of a match, if your anchor bowler leaves a split in an open frame in the fifth, like everything can change on a dime. And that's what's so fun about these team competitions. It's fast. Everybody bowls the Baker format, 1st and 6, 2nd and 7, 3rd and 8th. It keeps going. We're going to introduce our teams here in a second. But the fast pace, the excitement, the adrenaline rush, this is what high school bowling's all about.
All right, Jesse, we'll have our intros.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dale's Weston Lanes in the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Team Championships. Let's hear a big round of applause for the number 2 seed, Waukesha North. And let's hear it for the number 1 seed, Watertown. 2-game total pin count is the format. Good luck and good bowling to all. Let's hear you loud here at Dale's Weston Lanes.
I love the cheers. I love the intensity that they bring in the moments just before the match, Emil, when you have all the bowlers get together, those last words you hear from your coach before you take to the approach, and you get underway here for the state championship. First ball belongs to Molly Lesner of Watertown, and she delivers a strike right out of the gates.
Great shot.
Gosling's on the board with a strike in the first. In the Division II Girls Team State Championship.
Again, watch out, man. Talk about leadoff bowlers. That you couldn't have drawn that up any better.
Here comes Sarah Orlowski, a junior for Waukesha North, and Sarah delivers a strike on lane 7. Strikes to start in the state title match. 2-game total pin count is the format, as Emil talked about, as we just mentioned in the announcements here in the house. So you do not know if you will win this for sure after one game. Total pin count. So it doesn't matter, like winning the game doesn't matter. It's just the total pin count over what ends up being 20 total frames, 2 games. Strike good in the second for Casey Heisel of Watertown. Now here comes Kylie Delaney for Waukesha North over on lane 7. And Kylie Delaney, the junior.
That was a really good shot.
Yeah, it's a good shot that just left that 7 pin. And this is something in the singles competition that we saw some bowlers have a little bit of trouble with, coming across the lane, battling that oil in the middle to get it across and to complete a single pin spare. Let's see how Kylie does. Right on the money. Clean through 2. The Watertown Goslings. Coaches Damian Lopez and Carrie Kaufman helping lead the Goslings here this season. First place in District 6 at their home center, Watertown Bowl. Third bowler in the lineup is Zariah Burkholtz. Lefty delivers.
Good shot. Well, we talked about lefties. They've got 2 lefties in their lineup, and I was talking to Daria about lefties at the collegiate level, but lefties here, when you got multiple to high school level, man, this is pretty good.
Yeah, that was Megan Prochaska, actually, not Zariah Burkholtz. They made a switch in the lineup here today, so that was the junior Megan Prochaska delivering the big shot. So had our lineup set from last night, but they decided to make a change here during warm-ups. So keep an eye on how that plays out for the Goslings with 3 straight strikes to begin this competition. Meanwhile, third frame for Waukesha North. Another single pin spare opportunity. This is senior Maya Coppinger. Delivers it. Oh, just hung it a little bit left, and that's our first open frame of this championship match. All right, so now Watertown comes up working on 3 straight strikes to start. Here's Zariah Burkholtz, the freshman. Has a 300 game to her name here in the 4th position. And that's a strike. She's used to throwing those.
How about this start, Jesse? And you talking about kind of calming the nerves, easing your way into a match when you start with front 4?
So as good a start as you could hope for Watertown. Zariah Burkholtz leading the team in BER this year. That's the Baker Equivalency Rating. Emphasizes strikes more than spares in a fill percentage style formula. Zariah leading the team with a 67.37 BER. Megan Prochaska second on the team, 67 BER. Waukesha North bounces back after the open frame with a strike. That's Madeline Shakira. Able to hit it home for all 10 in the 4th for the Waukesha North Stars. Home center Foxview Lanes down in Waukesha. Aaron Shakira, Tim Pano, the head coaches of the Waukesha North program. 5th frame for Watertown in their first non-strike. You don't see that every day in a Baker format. The anchor bowler, the only one who doesn't have the strike. We always gave our anchor bowler grief when that would be the case back in my day at Muskego.
They might do it here. Good question real quick in the chat about the schedule of events.
Yep.
Girls Division I team event will follow our Division II event. Good shot there for Waukesha North.
Angelina Massey, the anchor bowler in the 5th. Knocks them all down. You got seniors in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th position here for Waukesha North, hoping to go out in their careers, winning a state championship here this afternoon. Big spare opportunity for Peyton Krusel, and it's into the gutter. Unable to convert in the 5th. That's an open frame, so each team with 1 open frame here in the first 5. And now we flip the lineup and go back to the first position bowler here in frame number 6 of game 1. 2-game total pin count, Waukesha North and Watertown in the Division II Girls Team State Championship, the first of 4 team champions to be crowned here today at Dales Weston Lanes. Molly Lessner, the sophomore, 9. And this is always an interesting decision if they want to go with a substitute right-handed bowler off the bench to come in and go across the lane, or if you trust your lefty to hit the single pin in this situation, with it being the last ball for her in this match. Looks like they're going to leave her out there, Molly Lessner, to go hit this one. Meanwhile, 6th frame, Waukesha North working on a double. That one came up light.
I would think it'd be a little bit early. You don't know, maybe if if there was a moment or two yesterday, right, where someone missed a couple of spares, you might consider it. But I think early on, players haven't given you any reasons to make any changes, especially early. And it's only a 2-game match. But with that said, if you needed to make that change, you certainly would have to do it immediately because it is a 2-game total pinball match.
No problem for Molly Lessner hitting the spare. She did hit 97 on the season, so why not another one here in the championship match? She's able to convert. Waukesha North open in the 6th. They get 3 of the 4 pins available, so going for pin count, working off the strike. That's somewhat significant to get as many as you can here in a 2-game total pin count format. 9 count in the 7th for the Goslings and Casey Heisel, the freshman. 2-time middle school team champion, Casey is, along with some of her other teammates here on the Watertown program. Scoring error here on our screens. There are 2 pins standing, but it says 9, so we'll see if they catch that and how it will be addressed. I guess it's irrelevant if she's able to hit this. We'll see. Rogers down there able to keep an eye on things. We're in good hands.
The 6-pin kind of moved its way, angled its way kind of in front of the 10, so it made the spare. I was just going to say it made the spare actually a bit more difficult because the 6-pin was angled in front of the 10-pin. So now they'll actually have to make the change because of that.
Right. Now it's indicating that the spare was made on screen, but it was in fact an open frame. So Rogers working on the corrections here right now. Here comes Megan Prochaska, the junior, in the 8th frame, and she gets all 10. Led the team in strikes with 120 throughout the course of the season. And that's a big one for Watertown to try and pull ahead here late. Heading into the final 2 frames. Great setup for Megan Prochaska in the 3rd position. Maya Coppinger, the senior. She pushes this one far right. Didn't even hit the head pin. There's 5 pins left out there. Now coming out of the open frame, that's not as significant for how many you get on the first ball, but we talked in the open, Emil, about a couple of bowlers in a row going cold and leaving open frames, and Waukesha North is on the cusp of just doing that here in the 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yeah, I mean, you could just ask for the better start for Watertown, and then for Waukesha North, a couple of missed single pins. Great situation right there.
That's a huge pickup for the North Stars.
And maybe, right, that might be the one that kind of eases the calm or allows more calm to kind of enter into that Waukesha North huddle. Again, they do have to switch lanes, so always keep that in mind. Remember that, folks.
If this was baseball, they'd say put a star next to that one in your scorebook. A potential pivotal moment in this match. Waukesha North converting a spare when they needed to have it there in the 8th. Here you see the replay. Coming across the lane, and after you leave it right, that's not easy to do, but placed perfectly by Maya Coppinger, and she's able to hit it. Nicely done. All right, 8 count for Watertown here in the 9th frame. Madeline Shakira, the senior, steps up in the 9th for Waukesha North, and a 9 count after the spare. That was a good ball. Just left the 4 pin over on the left-hand side.
It was, too. That would have set them up for the possibility of getting into the 190s in the 10th frame.
Solid spare for Zariah Burkholtz. Again, led the team in BER this year, 67.37. And as just a freshman to do that, you know, she's a fantastic talent who's going to be a force in Wisconsin high school bowling for the years to come.
I think it's pretty impressive, and we see this across youth bowling, that really the younger the player, the better they are at this point, man. And that's just the way bowling and the evolution of our sport has continued on. And you see better players at such younger ages, which obviously creates additional talent.
Anchor bowlers in the 10th frame. It's Peyton Krusel for Watertown, who gets 9. All right, this is a tricky spot for the Goslings. 10 pin is not an easy spare to make with the pressure on you, especially here in the 10th frame. We'll see if Peyton's up for the challenge. Waukesha North responds with a strike in the 10th. Max 180 if they can go 2 more here. And every pin counts in this 2-game total pin count format.
Yep, and we'll see if the energy shifts here. Watertown missed that 10 pin earlier in the 5th. Trying to take it home here.
Pushing it to the right side, and there you go. That's an opening for Waukesha North. A 204 for Watertown in game 1.
Big shot here.
Huge shot. Oh, how did that 7 not go down? How did that 7 pin not fall? All right, so Waukesha North still will draw within about 30 pins. We'll see how this final ball plays out. Coming across the body, Angelina Massey was able to hit it. All right, so 170 for Waukesha North. Not ideal for where they want to be after averaging a 182 over the 15 games of qualifying, but that's about on par with where they've been for the season, just slightly under the team average of 174 throughout the regular season. Watertown well above their average with a 204. They came to play here in that first game, but we'll see what happens now when we flip lanes. It's a 34-pin advantage for Waukesha North as we head into game 2 of the 2-game total pin count. Or I'm sorry, a 34-pin advantage for Watertown. I'm looking up at the scoreboard here, and the scores do not flip when the teams flip from side to side. So wanted to make sure I clarify that for everybody. My apologies. 204 to 170, Watertown with the 34-pin advantage.
Take a look at the huddle from Watertown as they do have the lead, as Jesse just talked about. On the bottom right of your screen, when we head back to our main shot, the scoreboard will be in the bottom right of the screen. All right, so that'll keep you, again, this is 2-game total pinfall, so if you're obviously scoring at home, make sure you write those scores down. As Jesse just mentioned, though, it is plus 34 to the side of Watertown at the moment.
We asked the coaches, what's your favorite thing about these teams? Watertown says they don't take it too seriously. They love to have fun. Waukesha North, they're loud and crazy. And the team chemistry, all bowling together for so many years. Both teams, very similar vibes. Favorite things shared by the coaches for these respective units. 2 great teams. 2 teams that have great history here at the state championships but are looking to break through and win it here in 2026. A 34-pin difference as we begin game number 2 on lane 6 for Waukesha North, and Sarah Orlowski, the junior, tosses a 6 count on the first ball, leaving 4 on the right-hand side. Molly Lesner steps up with the first ball for Watertown. Up 34 pins as we begin game 2. And Molly Lesner, knowing they're in the driver's seat, extends the lead with a strike here in the first.
Those are pretty good. I can certainly see her bowling at the next level collegiately.
Yeah, a couple of years still to go for Molly, just a sophomore here for Watertown. A lot of young players on this Watertown team. Take a look, sophomore, junior, 1 junior, 2 sophomores, 2 freshmen in your starting 5. No upperclassman senior. That's remarkable. Meanwhile, Waukesha North very senior laden with 3 on the back end in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th positions here in their lineup. This is a junior, Kylie Delaney, with a 9 count in the 2nd. All right, Watertown. And they're making a change here. This is Nora Sartler stepping into the number 2 position. Converted 10-pin spare. That's a big one for Kylie Delaney over on lane 6. Here comes Nora Sartler, tossing it a little across her body. And that's always one of the tricky things when you go to someone who was on the bench and bring them in for the 2nd game. They're a little cold. It's not like they're over on the practice lane warming up before this. They're right there with their team cheering them on.
Well, there are 2 good things that took place, even though there is a 4 count. One, she left the pocket, so she's got the 1-3 available, right? So she still got something to shoot at. And number 2, they were on a strike. They didn't lose pin count there.
Let's see how many she can get here. Pushed it a little bit left again. So Nora Sartler leaves 4 pins out on the lane. A total count of 6 in that frame. So Watertown at 22 after 2. And again, 2-game total pin count. How we play it here in the team state championships. 3rd frame now for Waukesha North. Here comes Maya Coppinger. Remember, she had potentially the huge spare pickup over on lane 7 in the 1st game, and she delivers a 9 count, leaving the 7 on the left-hand side here in the 3rd frame. So along with that change, here's Peyton moving into the 3 position for Watertown here in game 2. She was the anchor bowler in game 1, so a lot of lineup changes from coaches Damian Lopez and Kerry Kaufman here in game 2. As we bring in PWBA Tour Pro Daria Payunk on behalf of Storm here this weekend back into the broadcast. Daria, welcome back. For those who weren't with us for the team championship, Waukesha North leaves an open in the 3rd frame. How has your weekend been experiencing Wisconsin high school bowling here at Dales Weston Lanes?
It's been awesome. I'm very impressed with all the talent in the building, and I'm very excited to watch this final match.
We have a lot of new fans tuning in here for the Team State Championships at Dales Weston Lanes on BowlStreamTV. Watertown with a 34-pin lead after the 1st game, and a huge spare converted by Peyton here, coming across her body to take out the 10-pin in the 3rd frame. That's a big bounce-back frame after Watertown had a struggle in the 2nd. So the Goslings trailing here in game 2, but overall still in the lead. And that's where everyone here in the center starts to do the math on the 2-game total pin count, because it doesn't translate on screen for everyone. They have to do it themselves. Strike in the 4th for Waukesha North. They've rolled back a very similar lineup to what they had, including Madeline Shakira. They're knocking down all 10.
I'm impressed with how well you know all the players.
Well, between stats provided online and some of the bio sheets that the coaches and bowlers have been able to provide for us, we're very prepared this year to tell you about everybody involved here in these state championships, including the big strike for Watertown here in the 4th. That's a huge strike for Zariah Burkholz. And the Goslings continue to build that lead. Waukesha North needs some strikes strung together in a hurry, and they are unable to get it from Angelina Massey here in the 5th in the anchor position. Daria, what stands out to you as you watch matches like this unfold with the Baker format? I think it's just a ton of fun and how fast-paced it is.
It's definitely really cool to watch. I really love watching Baker a lot more than just single games. So the momentum that can be built up with all the team getting strikes together, all the teammates getting strike together, it's something that you cannot just really get when you have individual games.
Among the changes for Watertown, Megan Prochaska moves into the anchor position. More strikes than anybody on the team this season, with 120 in the regular season. The oil pattern for today's competition for the team event, and again, this is the same for the entirety of the team event. Daria, when you look at this oil pattern here on display, what stands out to you?
I can tell it's slightly longer than the one we had seen on the singles. You see it's 43 feet long, which is 2 feet longer. It does have 29.9 mils of oil, which is also a bit more oil. The ratio, I'm not really seeing the ratio. The ratio is 5:1, so it's quite similar, but you can tell that there is that zone that is more preferable to be playing somewhere in between that 9 and 10 to find that break point, so a little bit farther left that we saw in singles.
Brooklyn strike counts just as good for Waukesha North when they need it most here as we get into clutch time. Final shots here in game 2 in the 6th frame. That goes down all 10 for Sarah Orlowski. Multi-sport athlete for the Waukesha North Stars. Molly Lesner in the 6th, also with a strike.
Molly 2 for 2 in this game. She started with a strike and she followed her next shot with a strike.
Great bowling from Molly Lesner. Here comes Kylie Delaney, and she strikes. Waukesha North still in it.
They need a little bit of help.
They can string them all together here down the stretch. They can at least put the pressure on Watertown. Here is Peyton in the 7th. Or correction, that's not Peyton. That was Casey Heisel coming back in. She was the number 2 bowler in the first game. She comes back after moving out for the 2nd frame, and Casey Heisel delivers a strike in the 7th. That's a huge shot for the freshman Casey Heisel of Watertown. Back-to-back strikes for both teams in the 6th and 7th. Maya Coppinger leaves 2 on the right-hand side in the 8th, and now Waukesha North is in trouble.
Yeah, they needed, obviously, some help from Watertown. They needed to continue to strike, but because they're trailing by 34 coming into the game, they needed help from Watertown. And Watertown's still technically leading this game, even though it's a 2-game total match.
Yes, definitely, and the previous strike was massive. It could be a massive momentum change if that was not a double, but let's say an open frame, even though they would still have been in the lead. That gives more chances for the team trying to catch up to them, and once the energy and momentum changes, everything can change.
This might be the biggest shot for Watertown. If they can convert this spare, they're going to be in good shape. Peyton Krusel, the sophomore. In the 8th, chance to potentially clinch the championship, and she converts. What a shot by Peyton.
I'm going to give her.
One of the most difficult spares really to make. It is unmakeable, but it is it's so easy to miss it.
I'm going to give her a lot of credit because she missed 2 10 pins before that, and then steps up calmly to make a 3-10. Which most people don't really want to shoot at.
No.
It's definitely, yeah, especially under so much pressure with that being her last shot of the match.
So Waukesha North finished 2nd in this team state championship back in 2024. Take a look at the strike here again from Madeline Shakira, the senior, her final ball. Got the messenger to come all the way across and take out that 4-pin. She goes out with strikes here in the 4th and 9th. Keep it on the lane. I think we got double wood there. Oh, no, it's just 1 pin remaining. It's just the 2-pin. All right.
Was it 35 pins?
34 was the
34.
difference, yeah. So we are, everybody, this is always my favorite time of the match, when everybody in the center is trying to do the math all at the same time and
Yeah.
figure
So we
out
have
what it takes.
44 pins difference. Looking at the frame number 8. That this pair probably will lock the match.
Yep, that was huge. That was huge right there for Watertown. Now they can step up, and as long as nothing goes insanely wrong, Megan Prochaska, the elder statesman, the junior on this Watertown team, has a chance to clinch it for the Goslings. Big strike in the 10th for Angelina Massey, a senior for Waukesha North. How about the seniors here coming up big down the stretch for Waukesha North?
Well, I believe that Watertown has to get to 182. Would that be correct?
Yeah, so their max is 205 for Waukesha. They shot 170. So their max is 375, which makes the magic number 172
Okay, so
for Watertown.
72, okay.
so that the match is
So,
over
stop.
as long as we stay
Right.
behind the line and the ball stays on the lane.
Yep. Megan Prochaska for the championship. She wanted the strike, ever the perfectionist, but that hits the magic number. Everyone knows it now. The Watertown Goslings break through and win the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Division II Girls Team Championship. Watertown, who lost in the championship match last year to Merrill Tomahawk, this year will not be denied. You feel for the seniors on Waukesha North's team that are now going to finish for the second time as state runners-up. Still a heck of a run and an incredible resume for these bowlers to come so far, and for all the teams in this competition to get so close and come up just short of winning that championship trophy. They're still going to look back and know this was a phenomenal experience. By the way, Isabella Getz getting in on the action here for Watertown, getting a ball here in the 10th to close it out with a 177. That will do it. Waukesha North with a 201, but it's not enough. And the Watertown Goslings are your 2026 Division II Girls Team State Champions. Congratulations to Watertown. An incredible accomplishment for a program that has been on the up and up for so long, and no seniors on this team.
Well, that means that we're going to see probably the same players next year.
I mean, they were here last year. They finished as the runners-up last year. Now they all come back. They win the championship this year, and you can bet the freshmen and sophomores leading the way here. I mean, Megan Petraska will be back next year as a junior, but Zariah Burkholt, a freshman, Casey Heisel, a freshman, Molly Lessner, a sophomore, Peyton Krusel, a sophomore. Like, they are going to be loaded for the next couple of years in Watertown. This has a chance to become a dynasty after winning this championship here today.
That's awesome. It was a very great match. It was really cool to see all the players really keeping their composure and for Watertown to come on top.
Phenomenal performance. Really tight match. It ended up being down the stretch. 204 to 170 in favor of Watertown in game one. 201-177 in favor of Waukesha North. So keep an eye on that as our team championships continue here, because that left lane, lane 6, appears to be the higher scores. Both teams going over 200 over on that lane. Both teams in the 170s over on lane 7. We'll see if that impacts teams coming up the rest of the way. Congratulations to Watertown, your Division II team state champions. Trophy presentation will take place after the conclusion of the Division I girls state championship match, which is coming our way next here on BowlStreamTV. Handed you for this. Oh no, where is it? Hang on. All right, I lost it. I'm missing one. Here we have Sun Prairie. And then they handed us. handed you one of these. This one is yeah. So there's this one and this one. That's what it is. Thank you. So many papers now.
Practice is underway for girls Division II. We'll get that all situated for you from the camera shot perspective here in just a moment. Emil Williams Jr., ESPN Madison's Jesse Nelson. One championship in the books, Division II girls. Watertown, the top seed, takes home the crown, and now we get set for Division I and look forward to more exciting bowling here. Indian Trail of Kenosha. You've got Sun Prairie Co-op, two fantastic squads, great coaching staff. And for Sun Prairie, and specifically the Brunings, this is it. This is it, as they talked about and just told us officially. Mr. Brunig told us that this is it. So they're trying to go out in the best possible way that they can, Jesse.
John and Cher Brunig, two legendary coaches in Wisconsin high school bowling. 5 state championships between the boys and girls teams for the Sun Prairie programs over the years under their leadership. Personally, I live in Sun Prairie. I've run into John and Cher at the center several times when I've been over there. They're fantastic. They're friendly faces every time we come up here to the state championships, and we wish them all the best. Everyone here wishes them all the best today, except for Kenosha Indian Trail. Indian Trail wants to come away with a championship of their own here, and they're also a decorated program. State champions in 2015, 2016, and again in 2025 last year, looking to defend their title and come away with their 4th championship in program history. You want to talk about a battle of the Blue Bloods here on Championship Sunday. I don't think it gets any better today than these two programs. Indian Trail, Sun Prairie, two of the legendary girls team programs in the state of Wisconsin. In the last decade specifically, it's hard to find individuals or teams decorated as much as these two programs are. And for these two powerhouses to go at it here this afternoon for a Division I championship, I don't think there's any way John and Cher would rather draw it up for their final match, and I don't think there's any way that's more deserving for these two teams to battle it out in a 2-game total pin count format than to win it this way.
The one thing for me, after now being here since 2021, I believe, so this is my 5th, 21, is seeing some of the same teams, right, yearly.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at now with Kenosha Indian Trail, certainly with Sun Prairie. You know, I got a chance to actually bowl collegiately with their oldest son, Bo, speaking of the Brunics. And so I was aware very early how good they were with respect to coaching. And then obviously over the years, really understanding their impact, not necessarily in Madison, but really across the state of Wisconsin, and the amount of players, of course, that they've sent to the collegiate world. And I think we're really seeing some of the same things develop across the state. But in Kenosha, that's also a fantastic bowling community. I've known plenty of players that I've come across in my time from Kenosha in that area. But this is truly a remarkable matchup.
Whether it's Bradford or Tremper and the powerhouse programs that they've had over the years, now Indian Trail has kind of emerged over the last decade as the next program that's kind of taken on that mantra in Kenosha. Yes, they are a fantastic program, and we mentioned the state championships that they have, including winning it last year. They're back here to defend their title as the #1 seed. These two teams were separated by just 15 total pins in qualifying.
Oof.
15 pins.
That tells you a lot right there.
The difference from the #1 seed Indian Trail to Sun Prairie having to grind it out last night. They defeated Kenosha Tremper. Speaking of Kenosha, they defeated Tremper last night in the stepladder semifinals, 365 to 363 in the second semifinal last night, eking it out. Sun Prairie's program able to advance, and then they defeated Menominee Falls 382 to 354 after trailing 222 to 193 after game 1. So Sun Prairie battling back to beat Tremper by 2 pins, and then the comeback in the second game to defeat Menominee Falls just to get here to bowl for the championship. And if you're wanting to draw up a way for John and Cher Brunig, two legendary coaches, to go out winning like that last night and then coming in here this afternoon and going up against the defending champions and arguably the biggest powerhouse program right now in the state, any division. This is awesome. This is what it's all about here this afternoon at Dale's Weston Lanes at the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling State Championships.
It was a question in the chat quickly, but it'll give us an opportunity, Jesse, before we get this match underway. Can you give the teams who will be competing across the boys Division II and Division I, which will be coming up following our girls' championships here?
Yeah, don't go anywhere. It's all in the same stream here, so hang out on BowlStreamTV. Subscribe so that you get notifications every time a meal goes live around the country. The Division II Boys Co-Ed Team Championships scheduled to start around, based on what we're starting here, it was originally projected at 11:30, about noon. We would expect that would get started between Brillion and Chilton. Brillion and Chilton will square off for the Division II Boys Co-Ed Team Championships. As far as I know, this is the first chance for both of those programs to win a state championship. And it's the Battle of Calumet County in northeastern Wisconsin. Chilton and Brillion separated by about 20 minutes from each other in kind of south of Green Bay, north of Sheboygan territory, east of Lake Winnebago. Brillion and Chilton squaring off in the Division II Boys Co-Ed Team Championship coming up here about 30 minutes from right now. That's projected. Hang out with us on BowlStreamTV so you don't miss it in case we do get started a little bit earlier. And then in the Division I Boys Co-Ed Team Championships coming up, we'll have the number 2 seed Sussex Hamilton and the number 1 seed Racine Case. So 2 programs from southeast Wisconsin. Racine Case in District 3A, Sussex Hamilton in District 1. And that'll be a fun matchup, too. A couple of big striking teams, Racine Case and Sussex Hamilton, squaring off for the state championships. Neither Case or Sussex Hamilton has finished top 5 at state in any of recent tournament history. So chance for some new blood this year on the boys' side. Brillion and Chilton in Division II, and then Racine Case and Sussex Hamilton coming up in Division I as our coverage of the team state championships continues here on BowlStreamTV. A reminder, if you are looking for the individual championships, those are done. Earlier today, we crowned our individual state champions. Congratulations once again to Autumn Vodica of Sussex Hamilton winning the girls' individual state championship, and Ian Dudley of Amherst winning the boys' individual state championship. If you missed any of the broadcast, we understand. It started at 8:30, and it's daylight savings time, and many of you tuning in may have been at these championships the last 2 days, and you might have been tired and you overslept it. Understandable. That's okay. You can go back and watch it here on BowlStreamTV. So you just, again, subscribe. You can go back, find the full broadcast of the individual championships. Emil and I, joined by Daria Payunk, here on behalf of Storm, PWBA Tour champion. Exceptional bowling all morning long in the individual championships. You can go back and watch that as well here on BowlStreamTV. About a minute and a half left here of practice for the Battle of the Powerhouses in the farewell tour for John and Cher Brunig, the head coaches of Sun Prairie's co-op program. The Sun Prairie program does consist of 4 different schools that bowlers represent, all coming together to compete. So that includes Sun Prairie East and Sun Prairie West high schools, as well as Waterloo and Cambridge. Of course, Cambridge, home to Maggie Porter, who is very likely going to be Sun Prairie's anchor bowler, you would assume, here today. She was an individual who finished 3rd in the individual state championships earlier today, and a former past champion of that individual competition. So the left-hander, a senior in her final match, and I'm sure John and Cher would say the same thing. Yes, it is their send-off and their program that they've helped build and establish and turn into a powerhouse over these years, but also these bowlers are here to win this championship today, including the seniors, Ava Dunkel and Maggie Porter, trying to go out in their senior campaign with a state title one last time.
And as I mentioned before, you know, what's going to ring true, and I'll continue to say it, but I think especially in a matchup like this where you know things could turn on a dime. And so getting off to a good start, I think, is important. And obviously minimizing the mistakes, but truly, you know, taking care of the makeable spares, because this could be the 1 to 2 pin differential, right? When you look back at it, you certainly don't want it to come down to, or look back and say, man, we missed X amount of makeable spares to miss out on some opportunity to win.
Looks like we're ready for some opening announcements here, Emil, so I'm going to switch to my other microphone, and we're going to get set to have some fun here in the Division I Girls Team State Championships.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dale's Weston Lanes for the Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Team State Championships. The competition continues with the Division I Girls Team State Final. The two teams contending in a two-game total pin count format here this afternoon. Sun Prairie and Indian Trail. Good luck and good bowling to all. Let's get loud, let's cheer them on, let's have some fun for the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Division I Girls Team State Championship match.
Emil, I was listening yesterday to the Wisconsin Badgers basketball broadcast, and the voice of the Badgers, Matt LePay, described Wisconsin basketball this season that they love being the villains. They love going on the road and beating some of the best teams in the Big Ten in their home venues. Indian Trail would love nothing more than to be the villain here today and spoil the send-off for John and Cher Brunig. We'll see how they fare as we are underway with the first ball of the Division I Girls Team State Championship match. Indian Trail with the first ball. At least listed on our sheet here. I'll see if we can get confirmation here that Neela Wenenholm is the first bowler for Indian Trail. Meanwhile, for Sun Prairie, Jaden Baker delivers a strike to get things started over on lane 9. And just like that, we are underway with the Division I team final.
And a great break off right off the top. Right? That just gets you to settle in a little bit.
Wennerholm tries to bring it across. She's a junior for Indian Trail, and she is able to connect and convert a spare that is more deceptive to make than it looked on the screen here on BowlStreamTV.
I would agree with that. Absolutely.
It was one of my least favorites ever to try and convert.
Yeah, 2-4-8s are tricky. 1-2-8s can be tricky, like any of those types of clusters for sure.
Ask these programs to identify the best moment of the season so far. Indian Trail undefeated in the regular season, district team champions, and having the bowlers finishing first and second in the singles rankings in the district. Addison Stahl finishing first and Nicole Weber finishing second. Head coaches Dwayne Morowski and Jason Weber leading Indian Trail here to the championship. Second frame, Sammy Pankowski able to knock in a strike. And Sun Prairie converting back-to-back strikes to begin this match. On lane 8, a split for Waukesha North. We're in purple. I'm thinking we're in the last match. Indian Trail, and that's an open frame here in the second. That was Ella Pounders, the senior, stepping up and having a tough break on that first ball, setting up the open frame. But the senior's been through a lot here for Indian Trail. I'm sure she'll bounce back well with her next shot, making the right adjustments. Skylar Petz, Indian Trail. That's a big break to get that 10-pin taken out in the corner. Otherwise, that could have been back-to-back open frames very easily for Indian Trail. It's just a single pin spare here. That's the 2-pin hanging out on the left-hand side.
You can already notice, I think, the pace is slightly different in this match, right? So that both teams understand what's at stake. You know, pre-shot routines, very, very important.
Alanya Kessler from Cambridge High School, part of this co-op program. Should mention some of the different, we mentioned the 4 different programs. So from Sun Prairie East, Jaden Baker, the first position bowler. Sun Prairie West, represented by Pinkowski in the 2 position, and Ava Dunkel coming up. Cambridge, represented by Kessler. And, of course, Maggie Porter as well. And then Annika Freund is a sophomore from Waterloo, representing that school, plus some of the other players on the roster as well, but those are the major contributors we expect to call the names of here today. Open frame for Sun Prairie in the 3rd. Not ideal. And now a chance for Indian Trail to capitalize here in the 4th with Addison Stahl, the sophomore. Can they find the line? Addison Stahl likes it. It leaves the 10-pin over in the right-hand corner.
Good quality shot. It feels like both teams just almost like that the type of fight, like a prize fight. Early on, you're feeling each other out. You're feeling like what the team is going to do. You're trying to figure out what the lanes are asking you to do, and then you get a great shot like that. And you look up at the scoreboard and you say, shoot, Sun Prairie's got 3 out of the first 4.
Ava Dunkel, one of the seniors graduating after this year, trying to go out with a championship, as are coaches John and Cher Brunig. Addie Stahl on 8. Pushed it left. And so no strikes for Indian Trail in the first 4 frames, 2 opens. And this is definitely not a position that Indian Trail is used to being in.
And you talked about Maggie probably being in that anchor role, and it certainly looks like that is the case for Sun Prairie. Maggie Porter, that is.
You're committed to go bowl at Nebraska next year. That's not surprising that as a senior who finished 3rd in the state individual competition that you would step up in that position. No doubt about it. No need to question the coaching of John and Cher Brunig there. Meanwhile, big shot in the 5th, and maybe that's a momentum starter for Nicole Weber. And Indian Trail, first strike here of this 2-game total pin count format championship match.
And that's exactly what you want from your anchor player for Indian Trails, right? You need someone to just kind of level your team, and the anchor players tend to do that.
Maggie Porter, 3rd in the individual competition, and she gets 9 pins here in the 5th. One thing, Emil, before we bring Daria back in, one thing that I have noticed over the years when we've done this, when we have a bowler who's in the individual competition and then is in the team competition later in the day, because the oil pattern is different, that can kind of mess them up sometimes. They're not in the rhythm of just learning the lane as is. You're kind of thinking about what you were bowling on many times for multiple games in the morning. And so I'm interested to see how Maggie adjusts here, bowling in this competition here this afternoon.
I'm going to assume, as we watch Maggie take care of the spare, and she will, 2 things. From her bowling IQ, right? She understands that she's bowling something different now. And what happened in singles is completely gone. It has nothing to do with what's happening in front of her. Indian Trails, crosses over. And then on top of that, the coaching staff is there to make sure that the players are understanding what they're bowling on currently. And obviously in Maggie's case, there might even be some similarities between the patterns, right? Daria talked about it a little bit. We gave the distance, the volume. There are some similarities, but again, at the end of the day, they're different. These lanes sat a little bit longer too as well, which might play a little bit of a role in how this pattern actually will play.
Speaking of Daria, we bring in our PWBA Tour Pro here on behalf of Storm. Daria Pionk rejoins the broadcast. Daria, thanks for hanging out extra with us here today.
Thank you for having me back in the booth.
Yeah, we love it. It's awesome having your perspective and insights here as we call these championship matches. Back half of game number 1, and Sun Prairie leaves 2 on the right-hand side. Indian Trail with 4 pins here remaining over on lane 8. When you're in this 2-game total pin count format, it's difficult to try and shake off the mistakes, but also you need to be able to do it in a hurry, knowing how much every shot and every pin matters to try and win a championship.
Definitely, it's very difficult. More so for Maggie that had just came up from the final match, and she finished third, correct?
Third in the individuals,
she finished
yes.
third. So being able to shake it off for the team's sake and to put your best foot forward is very not easy.
We even saw that last night in the semifinals, because so you bowl in your team 15-game qualifying either Friday or Saturday morning into the afternoon, and then the teams that finish second through fifth come back for the team stepladder last night. Well, before the team stepladder, you have the individual qualifying 3 more games that they bowl. So Maggie Porter was bowling on Friday. She was bowling on Saturday all day long. She's bowling right away Sunday morning on daylight savings with an extra or 1 less hour of sleep. And now she's bowling here in the championship. That's a lot of bowling. She's getting her money's worth.
Yeah, that's what you call a weekend full of bowling.
Take a break tomorrow and then get back at it on Tuesday maybe if you're Maggie. Indian Trail here in the 7th. Single pin spare opportunity coming across the lane and able to convert. That's a good bounce back for Ella Pounders, one of the seniors here for Indian Trail. A couple of seniors on this team, Nicole Weber, Alexis Zagame, and Ella Pounders. Both bowling, or I should say all bowling, in their final high school match here this afternoon at Dale's Weston Lanes, just outside of Wausau, Wisconsin. This is Skylar Petz on lane 8. And Skylar is going to take that 10 out. Yes, wow. She is.
She got the same break twice. You don't see that a lot. You got to be able to take full advantage of that.
So, Daria, what's the adjustment that you would advise Skylar to go about here if she had that same type scenario result on each of her first 2 shots of this match?
I would think she just would need to either move her legs, feet a little bit to the right or slow down. I think that moving her feet 1 or 2 boards to the right would make a very big difference, unless the ball is rolling out, which I'm not really able to see from afar. If her ball is rolling out, then probably a ball change would be the right way to go.
Let's see how she approaches this spare opportunity. She's able to hit it. And we head to the 9th frame of game 1 of the 2-game total pin count format. We thank you for joining us here on BowlStreamTV today for the Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Championships. Girls Division 1 team final right now. Watertown has already won the Division 2 team championship earlier today. Boys Co-Ed Division 2 and Division 1 champions to be crowned coming up. We're a little behind schedule for those of you maybe joining us for the Division 2 game. Stay with us. We'll start about 15 minutes or so upon the conclusion of this one. 9-frame strike for Indian Trail. That is a huge shot for Addie Stahl.
Yeah, they needed that. They needed a little bit of adrenaline. Weber struck in the 5th, their anchor. Let's see if she can double up. Meanwhile, Sun Prairie still the max score of 216. It's going to have the lead, it looks like, no matter what, heading into game 2, but it's still a lot of pins to pick up for both teams here.
Ava Dunkel with the strike in the 9th. Anchor bowlers Nicole Weber for Indian Trail and Maggie Porter of Sun Prairie coming up here in the 10th. Daria, there's a lot of emotion involved in these championship matches, and especially for the seniors that are going out, the coaches that are coaching in their last match here for Sun Prairie. As a pro, maybe this is an easier question to ask than it is to answer, but how do you channel your emotion and keep that under control, knowing what's at stake in a massive match like this?
It's something to where coaching comes in playing a lot, and more so pre-tournament preparation than tournament itself. It's something as a team you have to work on a lot. You have to know who you like to follow, who you like to bowl before.
I love that.
Little extras.
Nice.
Tick, tick, boom, the cheer for Sun Prairie on the big strike for Maggie Porter here in the 10th.
Yeah, understanding the team dynamic is really important, and understanding that your emotions have a big influence on the person that is following you. That's important as well.
I will concentrate here on the final shots for the anchor bowlers for each of these teams marking in the 10th. Maggie Porter gets 2 more shots for Sun Prairie over on lane 9. Indian Trail's Nicole Weber gets one more after the single pin spare in the 10th here on lane 8. Max 159 for Indian Trail. Sun Prairie. I love the golf shot. That's now 4 in a row for Sun Prairie. Maggie bringing out all the celebrations here. Becoming a star here on BowlStreamTV today. All right, every pin matters. Indian Trail not the performance they wanted in this first game, but getting the strike here to close it out after the mark in the 10th is significant. 159 is the total for Indian Trail in game 1. And likewise, every pin matters over on lane 9 for Sun Prairie to try and extend the lead. Maggie Porter already with a double in the 10th. Does she have one more to close out game 1? Yes, she does. 5 in a row for Sun Prairie. And a 216 for the Sun Prairie Co-op program. They are up big here after one game. 216 to 159.
Here's the 4.
Yeah, this was the 4th strike in a row, the second ball in the 10th, with the celebration to boot for Maggie Porter.
You can see that Maggie had make a move from her very first shot that came in light, leaving a 3-pin. That could be a difference between the pattern that she bowled on before and this one, which is 2 feet longer, a little bit more volume. And she made an adjustment and she just executed 3 times same, getting the team to 216, correct?
216 the total. It's a 57-pin lead for Sun Prairie as we go to game 2. Now, a reminder, that is very doable to overcome if you're Kenosha Indian Trail here heading into game 2. 57 pins is not a great spot to be in a deficit, but if Sun Prairie puts just back-to-back open frames together, Indian Trail can get strikes, and just like that, you're right back in it. It's part of the fun of the 2-game total pin count format here for the championships.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of interesting things take place over the years, and again, you know, when you switch lanes, you always hope that players and coaches just kind of taking a peek. They're focused on what they should be doing in front of them, but as a coach, you probably look over every now and then at what's happening on the other lane because you know you've got to win the tournament on that lane.
And that's a difficult role of a coach.
We are underway with game number 2. Sun Prairie with the first ball on lane 8. And Jaden Baker. That didn't register on the. Oh, they just threw into. Okay. Well, actually, we just had a reset. Oh, boy. Okay. We might have to go to the monitor here on this one, Emil. Get ready.
Well, I think it was the.
Or were they just resetting it?
Now, what did she leave?
Yeah, they're talking to Roger about it.
369. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, it was almost at 369.10. The favorite spare of the pros, I heard.
I was really hoping for a booth review. We've never had one of those here on BowlStreamTV. I was hoping they'd have to come back and take a look at the replay for us to show them what was left. Here it is. Yeah, so, okay. Going to make the adjustment. You know, John and Cher have been doing this a long time. This is their send-off. Why not end with something historic like a booth review to check the official replay to see what was left? 7 count for Indian Trail over on lane 9. So here we go.
Good spare.
Spare is made, and Indian Trail going to put the pressure on Sun Prairie to get the job done once we reset here on lane 8.
And yeah, Jesse, and I was going to say, if I'm an Indian Trail, you know, I wanted to, if there was any more time, I would have just kept bowling. Like, I want to build momentum and rhythm while they had to wait for the reset.
So here is the spare opportunity, and it's left open for Jaden Baker here in frame number 1. Okay, so that is an advantage to Indian Trail, down 57 starting game 2. They mark in the first. Sun Prairie does not. Can Indian Trail capitalize now here in frame number 2? We'll find out in a moment. Sun Prairie gets the first shot here of the second. Sammy Pinkowski, freshman, pushes it left. And they must have been listening, Emil. Daria, we said back-to-back open frames allows the opportunity for Indian Trail to come right back into this game. And there is a chance that they may find themselves with that opportunity here at the start of game 2.
Actually, the spare on lane 8 is a very tricky spare. It's very easy to not get the 10 pin if the entry angle is too big. I would say that many professionals would normally throw it straight.
Ella Pounders with a huge strike on 9 for Indian Trail, and they are right back in this match.
I believe that the teammates joined the chat.
Freshman Sammy Pinkowski trying to get this difficult spare, and she does leave the 10 pin. So back-to-back open frames for Sun Prairie after building a 57 pin lead. Indian Trail has marked, including a strike in the second. Don't go anywhere. This is not over by any means. Two powerhouse programs in the state of Wisconsin. Sun Prairie and Indian Trail. A bunch of state championships shared between these two programs over the last decade plus. Alanya Kessler in the third position for Sun Prairie. And leaves 3. So we saw in the first match, the left of the 2 lanes was the higher scoring lane. Watertown and Waukesha North both were in the 200s on lane 5, or on lane 6, I should say, and in the 170s on lane 7. It's possible we could be on the similar trajectory here between lanes 8 and 9. 9 could be the higher scoring lane, although we'll see what Indian Trail does here with the 5 count in the third. Sun Prairie needs a mark. And they get it here in the third from Kessler.
Their cheer game is legit.
Very
It's on
strong.
point, yeah.
They've been practicing.
It's not the easiest of spares here, the bucket and the 7th pin, and Skylar handled that like a pro.
Skylar Petts, great shot to mark in the third and keep Indian Trail in the match. So they've already made up 22 pins in the first 2 frames here from that 57 pin deficit. Still work to do. They need to string some strikes.
Great shot.
Sun Prairie still in the driver's seat. That was a good shot. But Dunkel leaves 1 pin on the left-hand side. That's the 4. Addie Stahl steps up in the fourth for Indian Trail. Sensational sophomore bowler for the Hawks. And that is not going to help.
Trouble there, 4, 7, 10 for Stahl, just when you think that maybe Indian Trail can put together a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, that's a momentum killer right there.
Hold on, ball.
Still an opening, so both teams likely to open here in the fourth.
That split conversion would be really big.
I mean, this has a chance to be the shot of the day if she could convert it. Let's see what Addie's got. Gonna give it a run. Now she'll take the 2. All right, so 66 in the fourth for Indian Trail, 46 for Sun Prairie in the fourth. So Indian Trail has made up 20 pins. So they are currently down 37 with 6 frames left to play in this championship match. Maggie Porter, anchor bowler.
That's the benefit of having somebody like Maggie Porter in your anchor role, right? All the players looked right to her. She looked at them, and you can just tell, right, that's the bond that this team has. If Maggie has an opportunity, she knows that they're not going to let them down.
Definitely. Her role is really important in the team, bringing back the energy, especially when we saw some early struggle in this game. Maggie can turn the whole momentum around again.
The adjectives that the Brunigs used to describe Maggie Porter: driven, motivated, coachable, ice in her veins, mentally tough. A lot of the good characteristics that you want to see from a bowler who's going to bowl collegiately in Nebraska next year.
Well, I thought the best one you said there was coachable, and that goes a long way. That means that she is receptive to constructive criticism, which is very important in improving, not just in bowling, but any sport and truly in life.
Yeah, definitely.
Big spare conversion in the 5th for Nicole Weber for Indian Trail. They're getting loud, trying to keep the momentum going as they cut into this deficit.
So now there is 37 pins difference.
Sun Prairie can put some marks together here and potentially close it out. It starts here in the 6th. And an 8 count on the first ball for Jaden Baker, the sophomore. The Brunics describe all of the bowlers here for the Sun Prairie program as grinders this season. They put in the work to get here on Championship Sunday. Big shot in the 6th for Indian Trail. And that was Alexis Zagame coming in off the bench here in the 6th to come in with a big strike and to help propel momentum forward for Indian Trail.
Shout out to the Zagame family. Mom came up and made sure we had the correct pronunciation of the family name.
Get your head in Zagame.
Well, she knew. Witty. You're going to pull that one and play it on the show tomorrow, I bet.
You don't know that. I am.
I knew it. I know you are.
Spare converted on lane 8 in the 6th here for Sun Prairie. All right, what do we have here? Clutch time, 4 frames to go.
Good
Good shot.
That was Annika Freund representing Waterloo on this co-op program, stepping in and getting the strike in the 8th. Everybody part of the fun here for Sun Prairie. Ella Pounders in the 7th. If they can string the strikes together here, they got a chance.
Uh-oh.
And looking for a little help on that 10 pin. It came up high, did knock down 9 like a snowplow, but left the 10 pin in the corner.
Dari, do you see anything too drastic between lanes 8 and 9 that would kind of force Sun Prairie into a zone, especially to start this game, much different than they ended on game 9?
It's difficult for me to say whether there is a big difference on the lanes because the first 3 shots that I had seen on lane 8 were not the same shots as they had been throwing in the other lane that was hitting the pocket. So it's difficult to take a read with that, but as you can tell, the scores are a little bit higher on the lane number 9, but I wouldn't be so sure that it's just about the lane. I think so many elements have to do with it, the dynamic of the team, the staying clean, and just throwing good quality shots in order to be able to get a good read is very important, especially when you just have one game, in this case, for title.
Ella Pounder, single pin spare. The 10 pin goes down. And doing everything she can to motivate the team to stay in this match, give themselves a chance, make Sun Prairie earn it. Still playing in front. Indian Trail leading here in game 2. But still down 37 overall. Working off a strike in the 7th. Here in the 8th frame, Alanya Kessler leaves a single pin.
It's the 5-pin too. Shouldn't be too difficult. Yeah, the other adamant too, we've seen a lot of emotion, obviously. But, you know, some of the seniors just threw their final shot in team competition, high school competition as well. So that is happening too. Ooh.
Skylar Petz gets all 10 in the 8th.
Uh-oh.
Indian Trail making a late surge.
216 minus 57. What's that? 165? No? Trying to
159 in the first game for
159.
Indian Trail. Yeah.
Yeah, 159 they shot.
Here comes Kessler. Need
Good
it.
spare.
Got it.
So
Because
we'll
the maximum score is 216.
Yeah, we'll do some math. So that would be 375. And that puts Sun Prairie's magic number right now at 160. Again, that's if Indian Trail were to strike out.
So
They're on pace.
Yes, and they just need to stay clean.
Yeah, this 9th frame will tell us a lot about where this match goes. Ava Dunkel, a senior for Sun Prairie, delivers all 10. And it may be the shot that clinches the match.
That ball came back from
It did a lot
place.
of work. Well, that means that you just line up in the right spot on the lane.
Addie Stahl absolutely needs all 10. gets 8.
Maddie was looking for something similar, right? Both players, I thought, got their bowling balls right pretty quickly. The difference, of course, Sun Prairie, Ms. Kunkel able to get that ball motoring quickly through the 1-3.
And so the send-off is going to be complete here for John and Cher Brunig, legendary coaches of the Sun Prairie High School Bowling Program. Spare made in the 9th for Indian Trail, the defending champions from a year ago, and many of these bowlers, several seniors on this team, Alexis Zagame, Ella Pounders, Nicole Weber. They'll finish their careers here at Indian Trail, winners of a state championship last year and runners-up here in 2026. But with this shot, Maggie Porter, oh, wait a minute. All right, that's an open frame.
I don't think it matters.
But I don't think it matters either. She really wanted to strike the send off the team here with a bang.
What if she makes it? That would
that would be fun too.
That would be really cool. Yeah, I think they're quite safe. Our team can only max out to 196, which will not be enough to cover the 57 pins that they were trailing behind.
Nicole Weber's shot in the 10th. She's a senior, and her final shot is going to be a difficult split to try and make here, too. That's never the way you want to go out. It is better than my final shot of my career where I fouled.
Oh, Lord.
That sucked.
At least it was very memorable. You'll remember it.
Emotions were high.
One of the things I thought that was really, really cool, and certainly we should have Maggie go for this thing. Give it a run, Maggie.
Let's see it. Why not? Oh, she tried to. Comes up short, but that's still okay.
It's not the way she wanted it to end, certainly, from the frame perspective, right? But the thing I noticed, and I've been watching Coach Brunig in the settee with the players, really keeping them calm before they stepped on the approach, right? And so whatever the coach, clearly the coach-player relationship of this team.
It's very important, yes.
So good.
And also his demeanor is very calm, so I feel like whenever the players throw a shot, they're not happy with it, they turn around and they look at him. So whatever his face shows, I think this is the emotion they're going to take in, and he's been nothing but calm.
And now a lot of emotions here as it's a standing ovation from the gallery at Dale's Weston Lanes for both of these powerhouse programs. Indian Trail, winners of the state championship last year. They finish as runners-up this year. Still a lot to be proud of. Back-to-back years in the championship match. It's going to hurt right now, but they're going to look back and they're going to enjoy the run that they've had these couple of years. Indian Trail finishes as the runners-up, and Sun Prairie wins the Division I Girls Team State Championship. John and Cher Brunig going out with a bang, winning a state title again, leading the Sun Prairie program to victory. And for the seniors, Maggie Porter. How about the weekend for Maggie Porter, finishing 3rd in the individual competition and winning a state championship for the Sun Prairie team? I don't think anybody here bowled more frames this weekend than Maggie Porter did. And congratulations to Sun Prairie. Congratulations to Indian Trail as head coach Jason Weber and his daughter Nicole share an embrace that the fans enjoy with one another. Yeah, this is always the time where the emotions come out for everybody, knowing that this season has come to an end, and for some of these bowlers, and in this case, some of these coaches, their careers have come to an end.
Daria, you bowled collegiately and have won on the highest stage at the collegiate level as well. And you also know what this part feels like too, right? Where whether it's you're on the winning side, whether you're on the losing side, it's going to end for both teams, for players individually. They won't be able to return to high school bowling. When you think back to your time at Weber, what were some of those both, obviously great winning national championship, but even the moments that did hurt, right, and it took you a little bit to kind of get over, what were some of those moments like for you?
It always feels like it's the end of the world when you're there, runner-up, you lost. It feels like something is finishing, that there is nothing there in front of you. But when you think about it, these girls, some of them have such an amazing college career. Some of them might go on a professional tour. It's very difficult to shake off the feeling, because the disappointment that you're feeling, not in just yourself, but maybe in letting the teammates down, it's something that's going to stick with you for a little bit. So just taking that as a fuel to motivate you to work harder, to achieve more in the next stage of life. And it's very important not to forget the reason why they were here in this final match is because they earned it. So there's a lot of other teams that wish they could be in their shoes. So just being here and having the game in control, and you don't always come on top, but it's in your hands. The worst thing is to watch it from the sides and not being able to do anything and just cheer on the teams that have opportunity to win.
That's a great point. Yeah, when you don't have the ball in your hands, so to speak, or if you've got to watch the other teams decide your fate.
Yes, exactly.
We are awaiting our awards announcements, and it looks like they're about to begin. Here's Jesse Nelson.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to award our trophy presentation for the girls' team state championships. Big round of applause for the teams contending here in the finals this afternoon. We begin in Division 2. Congratulations to the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Girls Division 2 Team State runners-up, Waukesha North. Once more, let's hear a big round of applause for the North Stars. And congratulations to the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Girls Division 2 Team State Champions, Watertown! One more time. Let's hear it for Watertown. While we have a brief moment, let's have a big round of applause for all of the volunteers and all of the staff members here at Dale's Western Lanes. An outstanding job this weekend here at the Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Championships. Thanks to all of them for their support and their efforts all weekend long. All right, moving on to Division 1. Congratulations to the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Girls Division 1 Team State runners-up, Indian Trail. Let's get a round of applause once more for Indian Trail. And last but certainly not least, congratulations to the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Girls Division I Team State Champion, Sun Prairie. One more time, let's hear it for the co-op program. Sun Prairie East, Sun Prairie West, Waterloo, Cambridge. Sun Prairie Co-op, your 2026 state champions. Special thanks again to everyone here at Dale's Weston Lanes for their work for the high school bowling state championships all weekend long. If you do want to watch back the broadcasts of our championship finals here today, the individual finals from earlier this morning, or the team championships today, they are available free on YouTube on BowlStreamTV. Check it out, BowlStreamTV, available live if you want to tune in for the final match coming up, or you can also watch back on demand whenever you want. BowlStreamTV on YouTube. Could we please request that the coaches for Sussex, Hamilton, and Racine Case please report to lanes 19 and 20 at this time. We're looking for the coaches for Racine Case and Sussex, Hamilton. If you have not yet already done so, please report to lanes 19 and 20 at this time. For those of you here for the Division I and Division II Boys Co-ed Team Championships, we'll get those started here in just a few minutes. Plenty of time to get situated before practice gets underway. And we thank you for sticking around as we continue on Championship Sunday at the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Tournament.
Good afternoon for those of you who may be joining us for the first time. The Division I and II girls team champions have been decided. Congratulations again to Sun Prairie taking home the title in Division I, and Watertown taking home the title in a Division II girls competition. ESPN Madison's Jesse Nelson now back in the booth after handling the announcements. And Jesse, we watched two quality matches. As it always does, once the players or the teams switch lanes after game one, when they get to the next lane, there's always some trickiness to it, especially at the beginning of the match. We saw that with Sun Prairie going over to lane 8. It did allow Indian Trail to knock off a few pins in their deficit early, but at the end, I think the calmness and the experience of what we saw, what we've seen from Sun Prairie as a program, ultimately helped them, I think, figure out lane 8 just enough. And then I think some late wrap 10s and a Brad break late for Indian Trail, the difference. But, man, what great matches.
I wanted to make sure that I shared during that broadcast the adjectives that John and Cher Brunig used to describe Maggie Porter, because I think that her tenacity, the ice in her veins, and the leadership that she exhibited during that match, where she's bowled more than anybody this week between the individual tournament and the team tournament, stepladder finals last night, individual qualifying Friday and Saturday in the second round, individual tournament earlier today, and for her to be the emotional leader and really take charge as that match went on, I thought that was the senior veteran leadership that you look for from a team that is the difference in a match that's going to be as tightly as contested as we saw that one to be. So I thought that was, when I saw Maggie coming back and leading the cheers and kind of getting in the faces of her teammates in a positive way and cheering them on after a big shot, That's what stood out to me as the leadership exhibited, as a decorated bowler, as accomplished as anybody here in the state, a former individual state champion, finishing third earlier today, and now a team champion as well with the Sun Prairie Co-op program. Tremendous job by Maggie Porter, tremendous job by the Brunigs leading that program over the last decade plus, all the championships that they've won, both boys and girls. And for them to go out with a championship here today, and the way in which they did it, winning the stepladder matches, coming from behind last night, just a truly awesome weekend. And you couldn't write a script better for the Brunigs to go out as state champions.
And that's a great point too. Obviously, if you have been paying attention to what was happening throughout the weekend, right? And pleased to be here with you, be able to bring you the finals, but the journey didn't start today, right? For all of these teams and all of the players, it did not start today. It started on Friday, and certainly continued on into Saturday and late last night. You mentioned a great point about Maggie, and I've watched this unfold many times across team bowling, whether it's high school or collegiate. And that anchor player generally is a special type of play, and there might be some players who can fill that role, multiple players on the team. But when you look at Maggie, you talked about the attributes, the intangibles, and when they needed a spark, she was the one that delivered it in the fifth frame, and I thought that was I think we're okay moment from the team. Everything seemed to be okay from that aspect of things.
Yes, it was. I mean, that was high school bowling at its finest in that match. Two powerhouse programs, outstanding experienced bowlers on both sides, lineup adjustments, lane adjustments, coming down to clutch shots in the final stages. That was awesome. The Division I Girls Team State Championship.
Yeah, Matona, 24 years for the Brunigs at the helm. 24 total years.
What the heck are they going to do next year at this time?
Well, there was a lot of family watching, which was great. And Bobby, Dad, or John did wave to the camera like you requested. And I think he had checked his phone after they won and was asked to wave. But we weren't on that camera at the time.
They wanted a wave.
But he did wave. I can assure you that he did.
There was a goodbye wave from John.
It just wasn't on camera in that moment. We weren't on that shot.
Important clarification.
But with that said, though, right, just thinking about the family aspect, you can tell what it means. Man, there was a lot of people supporting Sun Prairie and watching that show. Pretty cool to have it in that way. I do want to say from the Indian Trail perspective, watching them last year taking home, watching them compete here, and as you talked about, two very good programs who obviously have grown over time. I think Indian Trail will have the best chance, or one of the best chances, to be right back here next year without a question.
The leadership of that program, those coaches are so
great
good.
Coaching staff.
They've got a lot of good juniors who are going to be coming back next year. They're going to lose some key contributors as seniors, but they have a lot of great talent that's coming back next year, and looking forward to seeing if Indian Trail can continue a dynastic approach here over the last decade to remain a contender in Division I Girls Team State Championship contention.
As we are watching, you see the lane machine going down the lanes. Emil Williams Jr. along with ESPN Madison's Jesse Nelson. Question on what's next? Well, we've got our boys Division II championship. That is next. And Jesse, who we got bowling?
Brillion and Chilton. Lions and Tigers. Oh my, the battle of Calumet County. Some new blood, I should say, here coming in for the Division II State Championship. Neither of these teams has finished top 5 at state in recent memory. I don't know if any of them have finished top 5 ever here at the state tournament. These are teams that are not the usual customers that we're calling the names of here in this Division II Boys Co-Ed Team Championship, but both of them won it. Two schools that are separated by about 20 minutes from each other in Calumet County, which again is between Green Bay and Sheboygan, east of Lake Winnebago. Quite frankly, until I met my wife, who is from Chilton, I didn't know where Chilton was. I didn't know anything about that particular region of the state of Wisconsin. Now I know plenty about it because we drive up there all the time. And Brillion and Chilton, these are two programs that are going to want this championship as much as anybody here today. Brillion, the number 1 seed, the Lions, 10-5, and they're actually, I should say this out of the gates, despite these schools being so close to each other in proximity, they are in different districts. Chilton is in District 7A, which skews a little further south toward the Fond du Lac area, while Brillion is in District 8A, which is more of the Green Bay area further to the north. So there's a line of delineation between Brillion and Chilton that separates them into different districts for competition throughout the season. However, here they are, familiar with one another and meeting here in the championship. So Brillion 10-5, tied with Omro for the best record of Division II teams in District A this season. They strike 42% of the time. They fill 73% of the time. And their season average of 183 well eclipsed in the round of qualifying, averaging a 199, finishing 8 pins shy of 3,000 in qualifying. 29.92 for Brillion over the 15 games of qualifying here at Dale's Weston Lanes earlier this weekend. Chilton 11-1 on the season, second place of the Division II boys co-ed teams in District 7A. So they strike 30% of the time. They fill 65% of the time. When you look at the numbers for the season, Chilton may not strike you as a team that would be a typical championship contender, averaging a 159 during the regular season. Like, that's nothing to necessarily write home about. You wouldn't expect that team, might make a run to state, but you wouldn't expect that team to contend to win state. Well, here's Chilton with a 195 average over the 15 qualifying games. They got hot at the right time. 2,922 total pins knocked down, 70 back of Brillion in the qualifying round. Chilton qualifying as the number 2 seed. They defeated a really good Waterford team in the stepladder semifinal last night, 428-363, to advance here to the championship this afternoon. We've got some seniors helping lead the way on both teams. We've got some fantastic underclassmen. Looking forward to this matchup here coming up here in just a little bit on BowlStreamTV. It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a great one. We'll talk about more after that. Daria Pionk will continue to join us as well. Daria has been here all weekend long, of course, courtesy of Storm. We appreciate Daria and what she has brought to the broadcast, talking a little bit with respect to where she bowls, how she gets things done. Obviously, competes on the PWBA Tour, is a champion on that tour. She's 2017 PWBA Rookie of the Year. Roger Dalkin giving the call to the players. The teams are down on lanes 17 through 20, warming up. And it is almost time to begin our boys Division II state championship run. Already see some folks in the chat. Appreciate you tuning in, by the way. Again, if you're here for the boys championships, they will be coming up next. Players are literally working their way over right now. Here they come. I like this format, not just today, but what it takes to kind of get to this point. All right, we talked about what happens on Friday, what happens on Saturday. I mean, just looking at the schedule of events throughout the weekend, right? I mean, and then Storm Doubles is still going on right now at the other side of the building. So there's still more bowling happening.
Oh, yeah.
Not just where we are here at Dale's Weston Lanes, which is a fantastic venue, by the way.
I stopped in here last night and just wanted to check out some of the stepladder semifinals going on. A little bit of the individual qualifying second round was still taking place. And talking with some of the bowlers, some of the parents, the Storm Doubles is an awesome opportunity that really makes coming to state worthwhile, because we're here broadcasting these championship finals. But this is, I mean, how many teams do we have total here? 8 that we're showcasing?
Right.
There's, over 100 teams that make the trip up here to Wausau from Friday afternoon until Saturday evening that are competing. Everybody's booking a hotel room for multiple nights. Everybody wants to make the trip here worthwhile. And unless you live within, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the area, you're going to want to make the best of your experience. So for all of the bowlers who do come up and don't have the magical opportunity to contend here for a state championship, taking advantage of the Storm Doubles Showcase tournament going on the other end of the building while we're deciding who wins the championships over here is an awesome experience for them. It's a little loose because once you're eliminated from winning the championship, like, all right, pressure's off. You just grab a partner. You're down by the pool last night. You're at breakfast this morning. Hey, you want to do storm doubles today? Sure. And you sign up and you get over here and you try to make a little more of your time making the trip to the state championship. The storm doubles is an underrated component of this championship weekend, and it's a shame that we can't feature it the way that we do these tournament matches, but it's a really fun thing going on for all the bowlers on the other end of this building. I'm sure Daria can tell us more about that coming up here in a minute because she was just over there. She's here on behalf of Storm all weekend long, so she'll be able to share more with eyes on it right now on how everything's going on the other side. Brilliant and Chilton. Chilton in the gold and blue as you see it on your screen here. Brilliant in the red and black and white. Might actually be an orange. I'm told that I don't see oranges very well, and they are the Tigers. So.
It's got some oranges. It's closer to the orange. Yes,
that really is a thing. I don't see orange well. All right,
correct.
Stunning revelation here on BowlStreamTV. All right, great.
That is correct.
So both teams warming up. We've got a few minutes left of practice here as we get set. So why don't we take the opportunity to welcome Daria Payan, PWBA Tour Champion, back into the broadcast with us here on BowlStreamTV. Daria, on behalf of Storm all weekend long here at the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling State Championships. And it's really awesome that you have stuck around here all day long to take in this amazing Championship Sunday environment. And we should be in store for a couple of great more matches here coming up between these two programs.
It kind of takes me back to college bowling, which makes me very excited. So I'm very happy to be able to experience it almost firsthand. It's just being right behind the players makes me feel like I'm a part of it. So I'm looking forward to an awesome match.
You were here on behalf of Storm all weekend long. You were signing bowling pins, which is an awesome component of this state tournament. I still have the one signed by Shannon Spake back in 2010, hanging out in among my collection of things from that I've accumulated over my life. A beacon of the memory of what this championship weekend is for all the teams that come here. And the Storm doubles tournament we were just talking about going on the other end of the building. You were just over there kind of taking a look at how it was all going on over there. What's the atmosphere like for the bowlers having a little more loose fun instead of the pressure that's on for the championship here?
It's very much of a different atmosphere over there that was going on. I was not there just now. I was at the Storm booth, but I did see some in the morning, and it's just completely different environment. And it's crazy how much the energy changes depending on the format, depending how many people are standing behind you. It feels a little bit more chill. There is less cheering as well, which is something that I really enjoy about high school bowling and college bowling, because that makes it more fun. So I will be staying here with you guys, seeing who is going to come on top for this finals of the Division II state tournament.
Yep, boys co-ed Division II state championship about to get underway here between Brillion and Chilton. And then if you're joining us because this was the originally scheduled start time for the Division I tournament, we are a little behind schedule. The Division I tournament gets started probably a little more than 30 minutes from right now. So you got a little extra time if you want to go make some lunch or whatever you're up to if you're tuning in for the Division I state championship between Racine Case and Sussex Hamilton. That will get started a little more than 30 minutes from right now. I'd say about 1 o'clock. You're going to want to make sure you're with us here on BowlStreamTV. Although we just encourage you to stick around the entire time anyway. This is some good bowling you want to enjoy. So just keep it on and enjoy us here as we get set for the Division II Tournament Championship, because these are two teams hungry for a title that know each other very well, being just 20 minutes apart despite being in different districts, and they are ready to square off to win a state championship.
Daria, question for you as you watch practice unfold, and again, with your collegiate experience in match play, when you have to switch lanes, like no matter what, the players and the teams have to switch lanes, and we saw Sun Prairie have a small moment of difficulty with that, but it did not cost them the match. When you're trying to focus in on what you get with the starting pair in the practice, essentially, how can you try to divvy up the time to really think about what to do when you have to get to the next or get back to that other lane for game 2, which feels like an eternity ago from now, right?
Yes, it does.
They are switching, and they do get practice on both lanes, but you spend so much time obviously trying to get off to a good start in game 1 that it's game 2 and the lane change that can really make the difference. How can teams, and how should teams, if you will, kind of approach the practice part from that perspective?
I can tell you from my own experience from being a part of Weber International Bowling Team, we call it scouting. That was very important. So we were lucky that we were able to travel with 8 players and 5 would actively be bowling the game. So the other 3 players always had active roles in for the team, and many times those 3 players would be scouting the other pairs. We learned how much we move off of each other depending on the bowl speed and the rev rates. So if we do see our lead bowler going across the lane because it just hooked so much, then the other 4 guys on the team would know exactly how much to move to get to the pocket without having to waste the first shot themselves. So the active role of the players that are not actively bowling the game is very important, because they might be the difference makers. They might be the ones saying like, listen guys, it hooks an arrow more. Trust me, close your eyes, move left, and just let it go. And many times that happened, and many times it did save us games in college level. So I would not really focus too much as I'm practicing and trying to find a line for my own game on the lane that I'm going to be starting on. But it's very important to also be able and aware to see what is the other lane doing, because at the end, the second game is the one that is the most important. You don't want to lose the match because your second game was a lot lower, and that's how you gave the title away.
Players are going to be bowling on, again, the 43-foot pattern. It's been on your screen here as you watch them practice. Almost 30 mils of oil. There's about a 2-foot difference between what we bowled on the singles this morning and about a mil or so difference with respect to the total volume. With the boys on the lanes, you anticipate, some higher rev rates. You might see more players going left to right. We might see a few players going up the lane a little bit as well, maybe closer to the gutter, and that's what we saw a lot from our singles competitors earlier this morning, specifically Kyler Zeman, who was so good going up the lane a little bit this morning. So I am curious how the players will elect to play the lanes on a pattern that does give you some miss room, but just when you feel like you can get comfortable, I think that's when the pattern kind of shows up and says,
Definitely.
it's like, you don't have as much as you thought.
And also what we had seen from previous matches, spare shooting is really important. You don't want to give any pins away, so those single pin spares will be very crucial to determine who is going to take home the title.
Got a few minutes remaining. Daria Payonk, 2017 PWBA Rookie of the Year. In case we don't get a chance to talk about this before you end up, of course, having to go back to Utah, Daria. For those who may know, right, you went through an injury. You have worked your way back. I've been watching your journey, certainly via social media. So bowling is happening. Where are you with respect to your elbow injury and the possible participation of bowling on tour this season?
So I broke my elbows on October 1st. So it's been quite some time ago. I'm currently still recovering. I started with the 6-pound bowling balls when I was able to return on the lanes. And I went up to 12 pounds, 13, and I'm currently on 14 pounds. Bowling feels good. I'm not having much pain sometimes, but in general, I feel like my recovery has been really good. I've been putting a lot of work. My only uncertainty is how my body is going to behave once I'm bowling under pressure, so I need to start bowling even sweepers or leaks or anything for score to see if maybe under pressure my body is doing something that might cause me pain. I'm still on the verge not being able to decide of whether I will be sticking with 14 pounds or trying to go to 15 pounds before the tour starts. The truth is that my body is getting a lot stronger, so 14 pounds does seem a little light. But as we all know, there's a lot of games on the PWBA tour, so I will see where's my body at in the next month. And I think that's going to be a decisive factor of whether I will go back to 15 and throw my lovely equipment from last year, or I will have to drill some new balls in 14 pounds.
Appreciate you sharing that update. I know the fans, certainly those who follow, Daria, have been aware of what you've been going through and then where you are now. Thank you for providing that update, and we certainly wish you continued success with recovery and ultimately leading to excellent bowling.
Thank you so much.
All right, it's now time to introduce our teams for Boys Division II. Here is ESPN Madison's Jesse Nelson.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dale's Weston Lanes for the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Team Championships. Next up, our Division II Boys Co-Ed Championship match featuring Chilton and Brilliant. Good luck and good bowling. Let's get loud and let's cheer on both of these teams contending for the championship match.
Two teams we are not used to seeing here at the state championships contending for the Division II Boys Co-Ed team titles. This is going to be a fun one. Very much different than the powerhouses of Indian Trail and Sun Prairie in our last match. Two teams that have some great individual bowlers, but we haven't seen that team success, at least on Championship Sunday, over the last number of years. But here we are, Chilton and Brilliant, separated by 20 minutes in Calumet County, squaring off for the Division II Boys Co-Ed team title. And the first shot of the match belongs to Jolie Strite. She's a junior with a 9 count, leaving a 10 pin for the Chilton Tigers. Opening shot for Brilliant is a 9 count for the Lions over on lane 7. That was Logan Mayfieb, the senior. There are some names on these two teams. Daria, Emil, this is...
there's a workout about to take place.
I had to leave you during the pregame because I looked at the roster and I said, holy smokes, if we're going to be around for posterity, I want to make sure I'm getting some of these names right. So, Jolie Strite able to convert the single pin spare in the right-hand corner. Jolie Strite, one of the best individual bowlers, and, of course, being part of the co-ed program here. Obviously, her contribution is massive to this team as it pursues a championship. Mayfieb collects the spare, each team converting a single pin spare in game 1. 2-game total pin count, the format for all of our team state championships here at Dale's Weston Lanes, just outside of Wausau. Big shot hangs a little left for Austin Kubichka. For the qualifying rounds, I record the opening announcements for all of these names. And I went over and I talked to the Chilton fans, and they said, actually, you did pretty good. And then I checked, I'm like, I don't know if I said any of these right. But they were very forgiving, and so I appreciate that of them. Kubichka, tough split to try and take one of, and he does so. So an open frame for Chilton, and also a split facing Brilliant over here on lane 7. So Daria, a little bit of a slow start for both of these teams here with open frames, it looks like, coming up here in the second, pending a really big shot here for Brilliant. They didn't take anything there. So how do you shake this off early on in this match as a tour pro?
Just gotta try to shake it off. Forget, because the previous shot has nothing to do with your next shot. So unless you did get a read and maybe the lanes, you have to make an adjustment.
Kristen Van Ackeren, freshman, comes up with a huge shot for Chilton in the third frame. How about that to shake it off?
That
a big,
was
powerful strike.
Exactly. That's exactly what the team needs.
Can Brilliant do the same? Not on this shot, at least, but they do get a 9 count from Aiden Tanner, one of the senior leaders for a Brilliant squad looking to win the state title here in Division II. Nathan Miller next up for Chilton.
Pace a little different here, I think, right now for our groups, specifically Brilliant, just taking a moment. I'm talking to the coaches.
I think we'll let this shot go first here for Tanner. He's able to connect on the single pin spare. That's important, keeps him in the match. One of the things that's changed over the last couple of years here at the state championships, it used to be just free flow, go ahead and roll. In a lot of the regular season matches that you bowl throughout the year, it's just go ahead and roll. But here at the team championships, everyone takes their time. They want to make sure you're staying in the same frame. And that's kind of policed by some of the tournament officials down on the lane.
Yep.
Slows you down a little bit. Big shot by Miller here in the fourth. Double for Chilton, heading up to the anchor bowler, Carson Piarki.
It could be a team strategy to actually go ahead, you know. When we were at Weber, our guys like to get ahead of the other team to put pressure.
That's the beauty of Baker, because you can get on a run. Because despite you having to still complete the frame, it's still a fast-paced situation overall.
Yes.
And so you also have to make sure that you don't get caught up too much into the atmosphere.
Yeah, everything is always about balance, right?
Piarki did not get the ball to come back. Leaves the head pin and a difficult split here.
Robbie wants this one. This anchor player from Brilliant, he's ready.
That was a really, really good shot.
Okay,
Robbie Dietzman, the sophomore, with a huge
I think you were
strike.
right, Mo. I think he wanted that
He
one.
was absolutely ready. As soon as he saw the leave next door, he had a little extra pep when he stepped on the approach.
It did seem that way to me as well.
Piarki takes two. I'm sorry, I saw that incorrectly. It's actually a 2-4-10 that he left there. I should have been watching BowlStreamTV, and I could have seen that it was very clearly the 2 and the 4 left instead of the head pin. Got a monitor right in front of me, might as well.
Let's see if we catch this react here.
Yeah, that was fun.
Clutch.
Oh, he loved it. But he wants his team and the fans here cheering on the Brilliant Lions. Get in on the fun. Here's Jolie Strite, second shot.
Hook a little.
That's a strike. Jolie Strite is a really, really talented bowler in her junior year for the Chilton Tigers. We saw her contending in the individual standings last season, and I'd expect her to be a force again next year. There's 3 in a row for Brilliant. These are the Lions that we're used to seeing all year long. In the number 1 position, Logan Mayfield able to knock it down, and 3 in a row for Brilliant. Here comes Kubichka. Two-handed lefty, and all 10 for Chilton.
Staying close.
Kubichka using urethane, looks like. Purple Hammer, I don't see anyone else. Well, it's hard to tell, but it looks like he might be the only person urethane at the moment. Maybe. 7th frame. And that one comes up just a little bit light, leaving the 10 pin. Jason Lemons on the shot here, the junior for the Brilliant Lions.
Good spare.
Good spare in the 7th.
You know, in our girls' matches in game 1, there was a significant difference for the teams as they moved to game 2. We had 34 pin leads, 37 pin leads. This match is kind of shaping up where we might have our closest deficit or imbalance, if you will, between the two teams as they head to game 2.
That makes it for so much more exciting second game as well. I mean, if I was on the lanes, I would like to have 100 pins on top of the other team.
A little different when you're up here for the entertainment value.
Yes.
And speaking of entertainment, how about the big shot here for Aiden Tanner, getting all 10 for Brilliant.
Definitely getting our money's worth here.
10-pin spare opportunity and coming up empty in the 8th frame. Chilton and Van Ackeren, the freshman, couldn't hit it.
That was a big miss because now Brilliant, they've still got 230 left, 231 specifically. 199 the max now for Chilton.
We could actually see some separation now after that. Let's see if Nathan Miller can put a stop to it. Good line, good ball, and all 10, exactly what Chilton needed coming out of the 3rd open frame of this game. Great foundation strike in the 9th. Thomas Vander Zanden. Brilliant Lions. Tough one.
The good thing is that it's after a strike, so at least their team is not losing the count, and it's still a possibility to make that spare. Not easy.
And this one's makeable. It's not easy, you're right, but it is makeable. Could be an eruption from the crowd if he's able to hit this one. Let's watch. Came up way left. And
I'm actually not sure which pins he was trying to go for.
I think he was trying to push it outside and just missed his mark.
Maybe he just missed, yeah, to the left.
So that's an opening for Chilton here with Brilliant opening in the 9th.
Well, that brings the matches closer. The game's closer.
Anchor bowlers, Robbie Dietzman is a sophomore for Brilliant, and this is senior Carson Piarkey. All 10. The big hitters coming up clutch at the end of game 1 for Chilton.
And just like that, everything had changed.
Dietzman pushed it left. Brooklyn. Hey, we always said
a break.
Rule number 1, don't complain about a strike.
Yeah. Finally, I just realized you say that every year.
Yeah.
We haven't had an opportunity.
No one had hit a Brooklyn strike today.
Really say it.
Took a while. I was getting a little nervous. I wouldn't be able to bring out some of my best material.
Well, that was a true break, though, because that was not his best shot. Kind of fell off of it a little bit, and when you get that kind of break, you got to capitalize on it.
Piarkey, second shot in the 10th. All 10. That's 3 in a row for Chilton, and now a max 199.
Wow.
Robbie looked at the screens to see the scores before he shot.
He knows.
They can max 195 here and keep it within 4 pins if he hits this, and he does. Yeah, this is going to be a tight one heading into game 2. It's anybody's game.
Are we sure Robbie is a sophomore? Are we sure? I know it says it, and I know it's right, but he does not perform.
Maybe that's he's like a second life or something. Maybe he's already been here before.
You can just tell, man. Like, he's very aware. He might be a numbers person, right? And obviously, Dari, we talk about this a lot where, depending on the player, they may want to know the score. They may not want to know what the score is. Robbie looks like someone, not only does he want to know the score, he wants to go because
he can handle the pressure.
He can
handle the pressure.
199 for Chilton, all 3 in the 10th for Carson Piarkey. Can Robbie match him? Yes. How about these anchor bowlers? Holy cow. 199, 195. Just a 4-pin lead for Chilton. By far our tightest championship match here in 2026.
That was impressive.
Anybody's game here. 199, 195. Chilton leads Brilliant. 2 cities separated by just 20 minutes in Calumet County, and the only thing tighter than that, the score here after 10 frames. This is going to be fun.
This feels like a match that, 2 games really isn't enough. Like, this needs to be 3-game total pin.
Give us 9 like the regular season.
A best of 5, a best of 7.
I would love to watch like 5 games. Match like that. Best out of 3.
Brilliant wasting no time, getting right back out onto the lanes. And the first shot is an 8 count here in the first frame for Logan Mayfield. Jolie Strite took 5th place in the singles competition last year. And gets all 10, using that experience in a pressure situation.
That's the opening that we all want.
Strike for Chilton with a 4-pin lead entering this second game. 2-game total pin count. Good spare for Logan Mayfield for Brilliant. That's a huge shot to be able to make.
Yeah, I would take both of those frames, right? Obviously, great shot from the strike aspect, and she's been so good. And then to open up with a 2-8 spare, right?
Yes,
2-8s
exactly.
are difficult.
2-8 is not an easy spare, not under so much pressure.
Second frame, Brilliant. Jason Leemans.
That could have gotten a bit lucky. We've seen a lot of trip 4-pins already today. That was not one of them.
Austin Kubichka, the junior. Messenger, how did that not take out the 7? Wow.
Not sure, that was a very fast Messenger.
Came in with force. I can't believe it didn't hit it down. That's a bad break for Chilton. Brilliant, meanwhile, converts on the spare over on lane 2. Nice shot for Jason. So now Kubichka, the lefty, two-handed. This is not an easy spare pickup going to the 7-pin. Let's see how he does. Keep it on the lane. Yes, sir. Nice shot.
He came back with a little extra energy about that spare, too. He put his hand kind of over on his chest almost to signify, all right, that was a little close.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes me back all the times that you're in practice, all the times you're in league, and you're worried about those single-pin spares. But for a lefty, the 7, for a righty, the 10, and to be able to hit it in a clutch situation like this, that is the culmination of a lot of hard work paying off. Big
More
strike
so-
for Brilliant. Sorry, go ahead, Daria.
More so that it could have been a strike. The Messenger was so crazy fast.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get annoyed and just completely whiff that spare. How many times it happens that we leave at 210, we get the 2-pin to fall, and then we just miss a 10-pin.
And in a tight match like this, that could be the
Exactly.
difference between winning gold and silver. Van Ackeren steps up for a single pin spare on 7 for Chilton. He's got it.
That's fair.
Clean through 3, the Chilton Tigers with a 4-pin lead entering game 2. We'll check where the scores stand here in a minute. Meanwhile, Thomas Vanderzanden steps up in the 4th for Brilliant. Came up high on the head pin, leaves 2 on the right-hand side. That is not an easy spare to convert here. And you start to wonder, open frame could be the difference as Chilton continues to stay clean, including the big shot in frame number 4 for Nathan Miller. Brilliant needs it. Tried to go the hard way and couldn't get it. Chilton senses an opportunity to pounce.
Yeah, it's pretty impressed with the way Nathan Miller's been kind of playing the lanes. He and there's one player from Brilliant who are really kind of going slightly left to right and up the lanes. Oh wow!
Wow, the ball did not really
Yeah.
wrinkle.
And there's the difference, right? You go from the lane that you feel great on, you got to switch
Yeah.
lanes. Obviously, right? That reminded me of what you might experience on tour. Like
Yeah, happens a lot.
You move pairs
Yeah.
next game, and then you're like, oh wow, this is like a 5-board difference.
Yeah, it's like, wow, it's a different pattern though. I'm not really sure what happened. I kind of think that he liked the shot off his hand, so that must mean that for him the lanes are significantly different. It's a very difficult cover, but it is possible.
Here's Carson Piarki in the anchor spot. Oh, and he runs into a similar situation as Robbie does on 6. Both anchor bowlers.
Oh, back it up.
Oh my
Robbie.
gosh!
Robbie, stop it.
Big
Stop it,
shot,
Robbie.
Robbie.
Stop it, Robbie.
Backup ball for the spare.
Yeah, it's heard of
Impressive.
Robert Ory from the NBA, who won 7 NBA titles. He was called Big Shot Bob. His name was Robert. We might have to call
That's
Robbie.
Big Shot Bob
Big
right
Shot
there.
Bob
Holy
right there.
cow. All right, Carson Piarki, does he have a good shot in him? Missed it a little bit left.
Watch this
Open
replay.
frame in the 5th. All right, let's take some inventory. Yeah, I'll take a look at this again here. Big Shot Bob. Backup ball all the way on the left. Swing it back in. Comes around.
Phenomenal.
And look at the celebration to go with it. All right, real time now.
Wow.
Oh, and another tough. I put Big Shot Bob back in there. Let him go get it again.
I mean, if they make this back-to-back, this could be the difference.
Could be the transition coming. They're stretching the pattern with almost 30 mils of oil. There's a lot of oil to move from one part of the lane to the other. Looks like the ends are getting tighter.
Jolie Strite off the open frame in the 5th. Here in the 6th. Just a little light. Didn't quite come back. Stayed a little bit to the right. Okay, here we go. Mayfield. How many can he get? 3.
Close.
So that is 90 for Brilliant in the 6th with 4 frames to go. Depending what Jolie Strite does here on this spare, Chilton appears like they'll be in the driver's seat. Heading into clutch time. Crowd goes silent as Jolie takes the approach and guides it right in. And look at the celebration from Jolie Strite. She did her job here in this championship match.
And that's the other thing too, right? It goes so fast.
It does.
But you're absolutely right. She did what she was expected to do.
Here's Jason in the 7th for Brilliant, and that one pushes right also. Everybody's having the same issue suddenly for Brilliant the last 4 frames.
There's a spot down there. And here's where the 2 games is tough, because you don't have another game or another 2 games.
It's an educated guess, right? Like, do I move right because my teammates came in light, or do I stay the same?
Great shot.
Austin Kubichka puts Chilton in the driver's seat. Open frame for Brilliant in the 7th. Chilton controls its own destiny here.
All right, so while we got a quick moment, just gonna look at this, right? Just down lane. That's the zone where it should start to make its move, and it's pushing through that area.
Is that a velocity thing? Is it just going too fast to come back and react? Sometimes the nerves, you can throw a little faster than you may expect, you normally would.
On that last shot, you can see that the ball got to 6-7 down lane on the 42-foot pattern, 43. It's a little bit too far right for the ball to recover. If he was to be a little bit slower with his speed, maybe. But unfortunately, that one pushed down. And
big strike for Aiden Tanner for Brilliant, the senior, tied with Thomas Vanderzand in the sophomore for 118 strikes in the regular season, behind only Robbie Dietzman for the most on the team. Tanner, 62.6 BER this season, second on the team behind only Dietzman.
That 9th frame, though, big.
Yeah, it's a big shot coming up for Brilliant. Chilton just keeping it clean here after that open in the 5th. They are in good shape. Brilliant with a couple of strikes could still force Chilton to have to work a little bit in 10th.
Their total max right now is 383. That's, of course, including the 195 from Game 1. I will force Chilton's magic number to be 185.
Vanderzanden wanted all 10, but only got 8.
Now Brilliant here. Top seed coming into this thing is going to need a little bit of help from Chilton.
And here comes the biggest shot of Nathan Miller's life.
He's
calm,
been solid.
cool, collected. That's how he's described. And that's what he shows off with the most clutch shot of the season for the Chilton Tigers.
I think at this point, we don't even need a spare.
Oh, there you go. Brilliant and open in the 9th, and that should just about do it here. Chilton keep it on the lane, and they're going to be in good shape. Max for Brilliant 156 if Robbie can get all 3. Oh, he's going to go first here, and yeah, that's going to do it. It's over.
Winning moment.
Nathan Miller.
I talked about him. He was just playing him right to left.
Boom.
Very simple what he was doing. Just trying to really control the pocket. And, you know, boy, the way lane 8 transitioned, and it could have been the opposite, right? If Chilton starts on 7, and then they go to 8, it could have been the reverse.
You never know. The team definitely deserved it. They stayed clean through 9 frames for sure.
Final shot here for Robbie. Gets 3, open in the 10th. So Brilliant's going to finish second. And for a team that hadn't been to state since 2022, that's an awesome run for Brilliant, the number 1 seed after the qualifying round. The Lions going to finish second at the state tournament. Chilton opens in the 10th. It doesn't matter. They're getting everybody involved here for the final shots. The Chilton Tigers. What they say in Chilton is, I am a Tiger. Today they can say, I am a champion.
Well, they have the eye of the Tiger, too. That's for darn sure. I got to tell you, I've been doing this now for a few years. I have never seen matches turn so quickly in the 2-game total pin format.
Yeah, I mean, what we saw in the fourth, I mean, even Brilliant started strong with the first 3 frames. They had good balls. And in the fourth frame, something just dipped, and they never found it again the rest of the way.
And the other part of that is Daria knows also well as a professional, the lanes change so quickly, and it will never tell you, right?
Yes.
You only find out the
yes.
way they found out, and that's arguably the most difficult part about bowling as lanes transition.
That's the beauty of our sport. Unfortunately, we are facing invisible obstacles, and we just have to guess where they are. There was that spot in lane number 6 that the ball would just shoot through it and never hook back, and the team saw it.
Like the teams both kind of waited for one another, and now they will, of course,
Let's come down the sportsmanship.
A lot of respect
Both
between
teams.
these two programs. Again, they're 20 minutes separated in the same county, in different districts, but they know each other well. Hard-fought battle here this afternoon. Great bowling all weekend long for both squads. Brilliant finishes as state runners-up. Chilton, the champs. Congratulations to the Chilton Tigers. Hard-fought semifinal match against Waterford last night, and then they take down Brilliant here to win the title on Championship Sunday. Congratulations to Chilton. Head coaches Tim Van Akkeren, Chris Van Akkeren. Also want to give a shout out to the 2 players that we didn't call their names of during the match, Brody Meyer and Easton Leftneck, a couple of freshmen.
How many seniors do we have on those teams?
We had Nathan Miller and Carson Piarki, who were in the 4 and 5 spot for Chilton, the seniors holding it down, and they performed as seniors should in that championship match. Brilliant, Ella Hill, who was not involved in the lineup there in either match, and Logan Mayfieb. Also Aiden Tanner, 3 seniors. So a lot of players will be back next year for both of these teams. Chance that they could potentially meet again in a similar situation in Ashwaubenon. Congratulations to both Brilliant and Chilton. Great seasons, great tournament run. The Chilton Tigers, champions, Division II Boys Co-Ed, here at the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Championships. And that leaves one more to go. Division I Boys Co-Ed Team State Championship coming up in just a few minutes.
Any defending champions?
Not in this one.
Not in this one, no.
No.
Sussex Hamilton and Racine Case going to be our 2 programs squaring off on lanes 8 and 9 coming up here on BowlStreamTV, and for all of our fans in attendance. A couple of good programs, but not teams that have been involved in the championship run here, at least in the top 5 in recent memory. Sussex Hamilton has always had a pretty steady program, but they have not contended in the last number of years for a state championship. Racine Case kind of on the up and up, and they come from that bowling hotbed down near the Illinois border, Kenosha Racine, District 3A. We saw Indian Trail on the girls' side earlier today. We've talked about Tremper and Bradford and some of the great programs over the years. Well, Racine Case is the next to take center stage here in the green and gold jerseys for these state championships. So you see here Sussex Hamilton, Racine Case being escorted out onto the lanes as they get set to begin their practice coming up in just a couple of moments. We'll tell you more about these teams as their practice gets underway on BowlStreamTV.
We already had one Racine Case player as well, didn't we? Singles? Girls?
We did for the girls
Yeah,
team,
for girls.
yes, but
Girls, not boys.
different teams, so
Yes.
she is not on this team. Yeah, but that was earlier today. That was Abby Fletcher of Racine Case finishing second in the individual competition. So, yeah, the Racine Case bowling program, has already taken home some hardware and been on center stage here today. The Eagles coming away with the state runner-up in the girls' individual competition. Abby Fletcher, outstanding bowling all season long. And now the boys' co-ed team gets a chance to try and win a championship here this afternoon. They are the #1 seed after the 15 games of qualifying. Racine Case averaged a 208 during qualifying, one of the higher scores that we saw. Well, it actually was the highest score we saw of any team. I suppose they are the #1 seed. That makes sense. 3,122 pins knocked down in the 15 games of qualifying for Racine Case. Team averaged a 196 on the season, so they've performed about 12 pins better than their typical average. Sussex Hamilton averaged a 201 in qualifying. Got a 180 average on the season out of District 1. Racine Case and Sussex Hamilton. Our final champion to be determined here coming up in the Division I Boys Co-Ed Team State Championships on BowlStreamTV. We thank you for sticking around with us here into the afternoon. It's kind of customary here for Championship Sunday that we run a little bit behind on some of our championships as we go. Our friend Roger Dalkin, who has done an amazing job keeping us on schedule and keeping everything on track, he comes up as I'm saying that. He's pointing at the program saying, we're behind schedule, we're behind schedule.
No, we're ahead of schedule.
Oh, we're ahead of schedule?
1:30 is this match.
Oh, shoot. Well, all right, I guess we're ahead of schedule. I thought we had him staggering every 30 minutes. I didn't realize we had a break in between there somewhere.
Oh, man.
All right, so Roger wants to get out of here and go home. I think Roger needs a nap is what he's looking for. So he's saying, let's go.
I can't blame him. He and the entire staff, of course, have had a very long week.
Roger Dalkin, a fantastic job. He's kind of the one overseeing kind of the entire operation here. Patrick Reddingen, also huge involvement here from our Bowling Centers Association of Wisconsin crew. Volunteers putting in all this time this weekend. Alyssa, Roger, Patrick, the entire squad. Absolutely phenomenal year after year to work with. And the event that they put on here, they've got it down to a science, whether it's at Weston Lanes or Ashwaubenon Bowling Alley next year like it'll be in 2027, or any of the other centers that have hosted this event over the years. Emil, you talked a little bit earlier in our broadcast, but going back years to Yvonne Bennett and some of the other great individuals who have been part of the BCAW staff over the years, they really have figured out how to put on a phenomenal event year after year.
Yeah, it's impressive, truly. And in bowling, really in anything, but certainly in bowling, the volunteers truly are what make bowling go. You obviously have folks who, have to make certain decisions and stuff, but you need players. Essentially, you need players, in this case volunteers, to be able to help carry out the vision, the mission, and I think you guys do it really well, certainly here in the state of Wisconsin. And a big shout out to the BCAW. Well, I tell you what, when I watch this and I'm looking at the both of these teams, I'm watching practice. In our previous match, I was looking for just lane play. Again, the last time we had our girls Division I, 8 and 9 sat for a little longer than 6 and 7 with respect to the lane condition. So I think the first couple of frames will be very telling, right? What, how difficult or playable. I think they're going to be playable overall, but will we see some things that you wouldn't anticipate, just like Brilliant saw on lane 6 when they moved over there. Didn't expect what happened over there to happen. Who we rooting for in this one? To our chat, I threw out the Who You Got poll with Brilliant and Chilton. Brilliant actually won that poll, but they did not, of course, win the match. So our final one today, Who You Got between Racine Case and, of course, Sussex Hamilton.
Racine Case 8-2 record on the season, tied with Indian Trail for the best record among Division I teams in that loaded District 3A. 49% strike percentage. Half the time they go up there, they're going to knock down all 10.
Boy, that's strong.
80% fill on the year. Racine Case just solid, dependable. They're going to knock all the pins down, and if they don't get all 10 on the first ball, they're going to follow up and get a majority of them the next time that they throw. Team average 196 on the season, average of 208 in qualifying. Sussex Hamilton 10-4 overall on the season, but some of the story here for Sussex Hamilton started 1-4 this season. before they finished first in the division at 10-4. They are a positive and determined group, according to the head coaches. Tyler Schauer and Sean Semrau helping lead the way here for the Sussex-Hamilton Chargers. They strike 41% of the time, Phil 74%. So let's see if those numbers and how they differ from Racine Case on the season come into play in who we determine as our champion here this afternoon. Sussex-Hamilton defeated a hot Oak Creek team last night in the stepladder semifinal to advance here to Championship Sunday. Oak Creek took down Muskego and continued to run the stepladder until they met Sussex-Hamilton in the penultimate match of the season. Hamilton put an end to Oak Creek's run. Oak Creek, one of the powerhouse programs in Wisconsin high school bowling. They and the defending champion Muskego Warriors, kind of a rivalry there in District 1 between those two programs. And for them to meet last night in the state stepladder semifinals was, as a Muskego alum, pretty thrilling to witness. And I know it meant a lot to all the bowlers involved. And to my mom, who's an Oak Creek alum. She now has bragging rights for the foreseeable future, which is disappointing to me.
I'm very intrigued how the teams will elect to handle this pattern. I've seen more players, though, elect to kind of play closer to the gutter, a little further right.
It does seem like, yes, they all are starting further right, which is closer to what our guys were doing in the singles, even though the pattern is different. They seem to be closer to that part of the lane. I feel like they're trying to play exactly the balance between the dry spot in the lane and where the oil is. Sometimes straighter is greater, and I guess we'll see how this match will unfold.
Yeah, this could be where one of the matches, and maybe the only one of the day where both teams played the lanes not identical, but almost. Like they're trying to accomplish the same things from the same part of the lane.
Unless the teams are trying to break down the lanes.
Very possible.
And just throw it a little bit further right than what they're gonna be actually bowling, just so that way they can open the lanes a little bit more in case they miss a bit right. They want the ball to find that traction and get back to the pocket. Something that is very common in college bowling, and at least Weber team, is that we would be throwing a lot of plastic balls up third arrow, anywhere between second and third arrow, just so we can push that oil down lane and get a little bit more hold. I haven't seen that quite yet today. I think it is because the practice is very short, so maybe they don't really have much time to throw many shots and break down the lanes the way they want to. But sometimes when the lanes are really difficult, more than just breaking it down to the right, you kind of want to stretch that oil and help you whenever you do pull in the ball a bit, it will still go to the pocket. And throwing a spare ball down the third arrow would be one of the best ways to do it.
I'm sure that there might be someone listening to this and saying, man, why in the world would I throw my plastic ball, in the track area up the third arrow? But it is very situational.
Yes,
right?
It
Is that fair to say?
Definitely, yes. I don't think there is a need for that right now. We see quite a lot of oil in the middle. So if anything, if there was any strategy to break down the lane, I would just say to throw a sanded ball to the right of where you think you will be bowling in your team, and that way gain a little bit of more error room to give yourself higher chances.
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that both teams are going to surpass the 400 mark for 2 games, and I'm thinking we're going to get in the 470s.
Whoa!
I'm going there.
I feel like you're judging it off of how they're actually breaking down
You're
the
absolutely
lanes,
right.
being a bit further right, more shallow elbows to the front.
absolutely
That's
right.
very smart.
Emil's looking for some fireworks here in this championship.
It's our last one of the day. Both teams, again, as I was just talking about with Daria, doing some things similarly with respect to their practice. Will that result in good fortunes for both? We'll certainly find out, but they really haven't deviated from left of, I would say, 12, or right of 12, excuse me. That's where their balls are going through the arrows. Now, as Daria just talked about, right, as soon as the match starts, they could move an arrow left.
Yeah, you never know.
And send it from, 15 to 8 or 15 to 5, really, in this situation. All right, final practice shots. If the players can be comfortable from the start, I think this will be a higher scoring match.
That's definitely, and they do feel a bit more comfortable.
Ladies and gentlemen, one match left to go to
Our
crown a
announcements.
champion at the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Championships. It's the boys co-ed Division I Team State Championship match. Let's welcome in our teams. Sussex Hamilton and Racine Case. Two-game total pin count. Good luck and good bowling to all.
Are we ready to go or what?
We are ready to go.
Holy cow.
I'm certain they are ready to go.
They didn't want to waste any time getting started down there on lanes 8 and 9. So here we go. Jason Boyce will lead us off for Racine Case. I've got the Eagles listed as almost an entirely senior-laden team here contending for the state championship today. And Jason Boyce, one of the seniors, 41 strikes, 41 spares in the regular season, and he throws a solid 9 count to get the party started in the Division I Boys Co-ed State Championship match. Here is Sussex Hamilton, and the first ball leaves a little something to be desired for Matt Visenik. Open frame for Racine Case as Boyce unable to convert.
That's the one thing you can't account for.
Now. And that might be a big break here for Sussex Hamilton. Let's see if they can even get a further break by converting this. Nope. All right, open frames for both teams in frame number 1. I guess it's a 9-8 lead.
Emil just likes to jinx the team.
Probably.
Yeah. Emil says they're going to be in the 470s, and
Oh, you never know. There's still many frames left.
we're on track for about 47 here instead. And another split, baby split conversion opportunity here for Racine Case.
I just think that's nerves. I just think that's nerves. First couple shots. You know, practice is practice, obviously, but when the lights turn on, it's a little different.
It is a totally different game.
Aaron Leduc. Magnifique, all 10. First strike of this match belongs to Sussex Hamilton. Quentin Billups, a senior for Racine Case. Can he pick up the baby split? No. Back-to-back open frames for the Eagles to begin this championship match. 2-game total pin count, so again, they do have time to recover. And what we've typically seen is if one lane is giving a team issues in game 1, it typically gives the next team issues in the following game when they switch.
Oh, yeah, that's why sometimes you see in a match play scenario, one lane might be the determining factor in a winner of a match because that lane's the best lane.
Senior Mike Zwiefelhofer leaves a baby split. Hey, this looks familiar for Racine Case. Just saw it on the last frame.
I'd be curious, there was a player, Katie Zwiefelhofer, who bowled a little bit on the PWA tour for a minute. Also bowled collegiate. I'd be curious if there was a relation. But Sussex Hamilton.
That's Caden Colthurst, the freshman, described by coaches Tyson Schauer and Sean Semrau as a fast learner. Well, he learned real quick what to do with the lane here as he knocks down all 10 pins.
Nice ball.
And there's the first mark of the match for Racine Case. Zwiefelhofer, the senior, comes up with the big shot. Braden Lipari, the fourth bowler for Racine Case. Lefty knocks down. No.
7 pin.
I thought he had all 10,
Well,
but that 7-pin stays.
based on the crowd reaction, and the Racine Case fans are to our left, and so they're watching from an angle, and they couldn't
I
see the
think they,
7-pin
I
was still
didn't
up.
see it.
Brooklyn. Sussex Hamilton suddenly working on 3 strikes in a row. Zachary Francis, described as the emotional and high-spirited member of the team.
Look out.
7-pin goes down. Nice spare pickup for Braden Lipari. Another senior for Racine Case. Lipari leads the team by percentage points in the BER this year. He's the best on the team at 69.7. Maddox Brooks at 69.2 steps up here as the anchor bowler.
There's 31 pins difference as of now.
Big shot. All 10. Brooks
31 pins.
Brooks and Lipari both with 91 strikes apiece. Hey, check out the fan cam on BowlStreamTV. Those are the Case fans cheering on their Eagles here at Dale's Weston Lanes. Like what they saw there, that was the first strike of the championship match for Racine Case, and it goes to Maddox Brooks. Kai Westfall, the self-proclaimed bowling junkie. How about a strike in the anchor position in the state championship match? 4 in a row for Sussex Hamilton. Boyce, Brooklyn, 9 count. All right, well, they're starting to figure some things out. At least Case is now leaving themselves manageable spares if they're not able to pick up the strike. You got to stay clean after they struggled early on. Keep yourselves in this for when you switch lanes. I mean, they also need Hamilton to miss, which they refuse to do right now. That's a huge shot for Sussex Hamilton. Matt Visenik, a senior trying to go out with a bang and win a championship for the Chargers. Spare good in the 6th for Racine Case, and Jason Boyce converts a mark.
If I could give Racine Case just, any advice right now, I would just say this match is far from over. They know that, so just kind of buckle down, take that extra deep breath, because it is high intensity. Take that extra deep breath.
I think it's very easy to feel rushed as well.
You just throw shots like that. That was a great
Yeah.
shot.
Just like that, right?
If you're not getting that one, it's
like
just
that.
not your day so far. That's what Racine Case needs to move over to the next lane and get on to the next game. They just got to keep it close here, though. I mean, this is just nothing coming up their way here so far in game number 1. And I mean, Sussex Hamilton.
They're coming in hot.
This is by far the best bowling we've seen in any of the championship matches so far. They can't miss. Phillips got to get the 10. And he does. A gentle nudge will do. All right, so, I mean, we've talked about this format, 2-game total pin count. If you can keep it within...
Anything can happen.
Yeah, but you got to keep it within like 80 is kind of that number that we've pointed out, that if you can stay within 80, you feel pretty good.
I believe they can max out to 260, 278. To be right? While the other team can max out to 216.
Crowd goes
206,
totally
actually.
silent
Sorry.
for Mike Zwiefelhofer in the 8th on lane 8, and he gets 9. Again, a good ball that just left a ringing 10-pin.
So is it the lane?
I mean,
Right? That's the question. Is
some-
it the lane?
there must be something going on 8, because we saw teams struggle earlier there too.
Well, one thing we will find out.
Wow.
If lane 8 is tough. Once Sussex Hamilton makes their way over to that lane.
This could be an unstoppable force, a movable object type scenario here.
Certainly, and or the reverse. If again, this is one of those, the situation looks a little bleak, but You want Racine Case. Well, so you just want to remain clean throughout the rest of this game because you do want to take some level of momentum with you.
That's true.
To game 2.
Daria, as a pro, if you get down in a match like this, going head-to-head, how tough is it to
Extremely. You
keep
have
your
to
head
get
high?
out. Yeah, you have to get out of your head. You have to stop looking at the scores. You just have to take one shot at a time because you never know. Whatever the other team did now, you can do later too. So tables can turn.
There's some good fortune for the Racine Case Eagles. Braden Lipari had a good ball and left a 7-pin his first time up in the 4th. This time he gets all 10 in the 9th. All right, meanwhile, next bowler up for Sussex Hamilton is senior Zachary Francis. Oh, man.
Getting closer to the win with each strike they throw.
This is the kind of championship match you dream of. Everybody's hot at the right time for the Sussex Hamilton Chargers. Open in the 1st and all strikes since. Brooks in the anchor spot for Case. You feel for him on that shot. It's kind of the appropriate ending for what has been a rough first game of this championship match.
It must be very difficult bowling against a team that is throwing so many strikes and they have so much momentum going.
Yeah, and it's not just that, as Kai Westfall decides he wants a false start penalty and back him up 5 yards, but he'll go ahead and try this again. Shake that one off. If you don't like how you feel, you only get a couple of chances to do it here in the championship. Make sure you stop and reset.
All right, so I think we're looking at a more than 100 pins difference.
Yeah, this is going to be a massive deficit for Racine Case to try and overcome. I mean, they averaged a 196 on the season as a team. They averaged a 208 in qualifying, and they throw a 152 here in game 1 of the championship match. Meanwhile, Sussex Hamilton throwing one of their best games of the year. Wow.
Well, they can still max out to 278.
A good mixture of younger and veteran bowlers for this Sussex Hamilton squad, who last appeared at the state tournament in 2023 here at Dales Weston Lanes in Wausau. How large will this lead grow for Sussex Hamilton? And you know what? Credit Kai Westfall here in the anchor spot. He almost went up there and threw a shot he didn't feel comfortable with. He pulled it back. I used to do that a lot also if I wasn't comfortable, and people would look at me like, well, you can't do that. You're going to get in your own head. And I understand that that can impact you if you pull it back rather than just letting it go. But he stepped up, and after that quote-unquote false start, has thrown 2 strikes in a row here in the 10th. And it opens up an opportunity for a bowler to come in off the bench.
Also got a strike.
Dylan Torfter.
Phenomenal finish of their first game.
The loud jokester of the Sussex Hamilton squad. No joke about game 1 for the Chargers. 278 to 152.
Wow.
That is as large a dichotomy that we've ever seen in a state championship match in all the years we've been doing this.
That's about all you can say to that, is wow.
I'm very interested to see whether the same game plan, the same lines would work on the other lane, whether the other lane is slightly different. Maybe it's better. Maybe we're going to see a 300. That would be really cool.
This is one of the most highly anticipated lane changes we've ever seen at the state championships.
Definitely.
I'll say that much. 126 the differential. That is, on the surface, insurmountable.
It is.
But
it's very difficult to make up that many pins.
The fact that it just happened also shows you for 2 teams, and Racine Case, again, 49% strike percentage on the season. Half the time in the regular season they go up there, they strike. You know they can string them together. And the message has to be, you're on the cusp of one of the great comebacks in state championship history. We'll see what happens. 10 frames to go at the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Championships.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Like, of all the matches, this one has been where, you know, the most silent, right? It's the most bowling feel.
Here's Vasenik in the first.
They're not slowing down.
So that's 12 in a row.
So we call that an Andy Verapapa 300 in the bowling world.
And meanwhile, for Racine Case, they make a slight lineup adjustment here and go to Mason Halliday, the junior, to step in the first spot. 7 count on the first ball. He'll get a chance to convert a spare here on 9. Going across his body, easy one to chop, and pushed it a little too far. And so Racine Case's deficit grows. Back to Sussex Hamilton. Aaron Leduc has struck both times up. Can he go for 3? And that snaps the streak of 12 consecutive strikes for the Sussex Hamilton Chargers in the championship match. They call him Q, Quentin Billups. Pushed it too far to the right. Just not coming back for Racine Case. Leduc across the lane for the spare.
That's fair.
And as long as Sussex Hamilton can do that, they're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, they're obviously not in any trouble, and it would be slightly different, right, if Racine Case was able to come out with an early double. You know, you want to show the opponent, right? You're still here. You still got to have to account for us, so we're going to make you bowl, right, until it's mathematically over.
Exactly.
And so since that hasn't happened, unfortunately, it does allow Sussex Hamilton just to remain relaxed.
Yeah, easy to say. The recipe for the comeback did not include open frames in the first and second for Racine Case. Hamilton trying to keep the good times rolling. Makeable spare, which again, that will get the job done here. That's part of the pressure alleviated for Sussex Hamilton because of how good they came out of the gates. That if you can just keep yourself in a makeable spare situation and you don't botch this thing, you're going to win a state championship.
Good shot from Mike there.
Zwiefelhofer with a strike in the third for Racine Case. Finally, they get a mark here in game 2. And the spare is converted. It got a little dicey there at the end, but it's good for Caden Colthurst in the 3 position in the Baker lineup for Sussex Hamilton. District 1 has produced a lot of champions over the years, including Muskego last season. Sussex Hamilton looking to join the ranks. Zachary Francis.
That was a really good shot from Zachary.
What stood out to you, Daria, from that shot?
His barrel is amazing. I was looking at his barrel, and it's very nice, and he hit exactly near the second arrow, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's exactly where you want to be at on this pattern.
Brayden Lipari found something. He's got a good angle coming with the left hand, and he gets a strike, and Racine Case has a double.
And the one thing that I truly appreciate, and this is a good lesson for all of us in life, but especially at this level, they have not given up. Racine Case, right? They understand the situation, but they are just as intense, right, as if this was a 2-pin match as opposed to what it truly is. Uh-oh. Roger Dawkins, walkie-talkie. Well, we know Westfall strikes when he takes a moment, when he resets.
The Docky-walkie got in the way of that one. Kai Westfall in the 5th for Sussex Hamilton. Gets 9.
Comes a little bit high. Corbin.
You know, Roger should know we do all those announcements. Please silence your cell phones at this time. You would think that Roger would, heed the warning. Wait, they play those announcements every year, Roger. Come on. Roger Dawkins the best.
It's a good shot there from Maddox. He almost got both pins to fall, the 7 and the 10, but the 10 does go.
Starting to feel like the party's on here for Sussex Hamilton. And you start to wonder, they have a few players, reserves available. You wonder if they start to get in. We saw Dylan Torrifter get in the 10th frame of the first game. And if this one's in hand, Braden Danner, Ben Fries, Bryson Wallenkamp, we'll see if those guys get a chance to take a shot here down the stretch and be part of this championship for the Chargers. Vasenik struck in the 1st, asking for it in the 6th, and leaves a split. Okay, so, I mean, we can start to crunch the numbers, and it is an opening for Case to overcome the lead in this particular game, but I think it's going to be a really tall task for Case to overcome for the entire match, down 120 plus. And they would have needed a strike there, really, to make a game of it.
It's, of course, one of those situations, and you obviously got to give you the credit to Sussex Hamilton. I mean, they came out. We always talk about being aggressive to start, but they bowled about as well as you can bowl.
Yeah.
And especially in a total pin scenario, where every pin truly does count.
And I will say this, for Racine Case, it's very senior laden. Maddox Brooks, Braden Lipari, Mike Zwiefelhofer, Quentin Billups, Jason Boyce, and then Avery Hornstra as well, all seniors on this team.
It's pretty impressive.
So
Yep.
what we can say is, for at least in my experience, when we were in our stepladder semifinal, we had a very senior-laden team, and we knew there came a point in the 2-game total pin count where you knew you weren't going to win.
Sure.
And that kind of alleviates the pressure, and you kind of come to the realization, all right, this wasn't our day, we're not going to win this one. But then you get to go out there, you get to focus on your final ball of your senior year, trying to be the best one that you can make it.
It's a great point because there's still something to play for, right? You're still playing for each other through the very last ball.
One of those seniors is Quentin Billups here in the 7th. Right on the money.
And he can definitely say that his year of the high school bowling had finished with a strike.
Right. It's the little things that do count. You'll look
Right?
back on.
Like your foul. Remember your foul?
Oh, yeah. I foul on my final shot. Yep. Q with an X.
Well, you just caught a stray right there, Jesse.
That's it. Yeah,
You caught a stray.
that's what Daria's going to remember about me
love
when
that.
she,
Unfortunately,
leaves
yes.
Wisconsin. That's what she's going to take away
I
from
like
our
feisty
experience here
Daria.
today.
I like feisty.
I do too. It's fun. All right. There's a strike in the 8th.
Combos for a double.
And that is Braden Danner in off the bench to throw a strike in the 8th. So they do go to the bench. Braden throws a strike. Let's see who else gets in there. Coach is deciding right now as Zwiefelhofer steps up in the 8th for Racine Case. So definitely two different things happening here. The seniors for Racine Case know the match is over, and they all want to throw a strike on their last ball, and they have been pretty successful here in the last couple of frames. And for Sussex Hamilton, they want to get everybody a shot to say that they were part of this championship match. That includes Torrifter coming in here right now. Dylan Torrifter, a junior. 67 strikes in the regular season for Sussex Hamilton. Does he have one more in him here in the championship match? Pushed it a little high, but a makeable spare in the 9th. Sussex Hamilton, just the next in line of District 1 teams going to win a championship.
I think something to keep an eye on. There is still a match going on when it comes to just this game.
Yeah, you
Case
take,
could say, hey, we won the second one.
well, you take the wins where you can get
Yeah,
them.
and there's
Absolutely.
Lipari with a strike in the 9th. So how about this? 3 in a row. The seniors all trying to go out strong. They're at the mark in the 6th.
Just finish on a positive note, right?
Yeah. And So far, Boyce and Billups and Zwiefelhofer and Lipari have all done that.
Well, I think we probably all can feel good when we say, no matter the situation, whatever the result was, if you end it strongly, right? Dar, you've had some tough blocks on tour, but that sixth game, if you threw the back five,
the last few games you remember,
back four,
yes,
it makes lunch taste just a little bit better.
It does, yeah, it 100% does.
Final frame of the championship match, Ben Fries for Sussex Hamilton. Leaves a single pin spare, and so if he's able to convert, we'll see if they go to, I think they got one player left that could get one more shot, and then everybody could say that they bowled in this championship.
I really thought he was about to trip the 4-9 there.
I thought so too for a second.
Maddox Brooks, final first shot of his career, and leaves a ringing 10, and he's going to laugh that one off. Good shot from Maddox Brooks, right where he wanted it. Story of the day for Racine Case. What a tournament they had. Averaged a 2.08 in qualifying. They were by far the best team in qualifying on the opening rounds. Open frame in the 10th for Sussex Hamilton, no matter. The Chargers are the champs.
Phenomenal final.
And so I believe none of our number one seeds won titles today.
Yeah, how about that?
How about that?
Actually, I stand corrected. Watertown was the number
Correct.
one seed. So in the first one,
Girls D2.
Division D2 girls, Watertown the number one seed won. But the rest of our championships were all won by teams that were not the one seed. Brooks on the final shot.
Good shot.
And they got to 200.
Good sportsmanship early.
So Case did win the second game. They can say that. But Sussex Hamilton wins the title. 2-game total pin count. And led by a streak of 12 consecutive strikes, the Sussex Hamilton Chargers win the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Division I Boys Co-Ed Championship. Going to be a nice drive home to southeast Wisconsin for Sussex Hamilton today.
No, congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations all to the runner-ups. I think it was an amazing weekend of bowling.
No doubt about it. Daria, some final thoughts as we get ready for the trophy presentation coming up here for both of our boys co-ed champions and runners-up in just a moment. So now that it's come to a close, you were here on behalf of Storm all weekend long. You get to experience these championships, including staying with us all through Championship Sunday here. Remarkable. We appreciate you spending the time. And what were your big takeaways from this weekend?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Storm and 900 Club Bowl for sending me here and having me experience high school bowling. It's a phenomenal experience. I will always be thankful for it, and also for all the bowling balls and everything that had been given away on behalf of SPI products. I think that's amazing that they keep just helping the bowling industry. They keep the tournaments running. They do everything that they can in order to get more people involved, to get those tournaments. And congratulations to all the winners. I've had an amazing time. I've spoken to so many people, and just watching the finals, it was a cherry on top. It was great.
We appreciate you being part of our broadcast all day long,
Thank you so much, guys,
Daria.
to you
Thank
as well. Thank you.
And we're getting ready for the trophy presentation here in just mere moments. Again, our Division II and Division I boys co-ed championships. The final trophies, the final hardware to be handed out here at the Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Championships in 2026.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear a round of applause for all of our teams contending for the boys co-ed championships here this afternoon. It's a great season. It's a hard-fought weekend. Congratulations to everyone being here all weekend long and the great bowling that we witnessed over the last 3 days. Let's give out our final trophies of the day. Starting in Division II, congratulations to the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Boys Co-Ed Division II Team State runners-up, Brilliant.
Yes, great to meet you. Thank you.
One more time, let's hear it for the Brilliant Lions. Congratulations to the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Boys Co-Ed Division II Team State Champion, Chilton! Once again, let's hear it for the Chilton Tigers. And while we have a moment, while they take pictures, want to once again thank the entire staff here at Dale's Weston Lanes for their help all weekend long, putting on another sensational tournament. Thanks to everyone here, Sarah Elliott, the entire crew at Dale's Weston Lanes. Also, a big round of applause for our BCAW staff, our volunteers who have helped out all weekend long. This tournament would not be possible without them. Special thanks in particular to the program manager, Roger Dalkin, who was heavily involved in everything going on here all weekend long, including to moderate our championships here today. Let's hear a big round of applause for Roger Dalkin. And silence your walkie-talkie next time, Roger. Come on. All right, on to our Division I awards. Let's hear it for the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Boys Co-Ed Division I Team State runners-up, Racine Case. One more time, let's hear it for Racine Case. And ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Boys Co-Ed Division I Team State Champions, Sussex Hamilton. One more time, let's hear it. The Chargers are the champions. Once again, thanks to everybody here at Dale's Weston Lanes, our BCAW staff, the staff here on site, Storm, H5G, Classic Products, everyone involved helping make this state tournament possible. Thank you for supporting the Wisconsin High School Bowling Club, and we look forward to seeing many of you next year at the 2027 Wisconsin High School Bowling State Championships in Ashwaubenon. A reminder, you can watch back the full broadcasts of today's championship finals, both the individual tournament and the team tournament, on BowlStreamTV, available on YouTube. BowlStreamTV on YouTube. Full broadcasts of the championship matches available on demand. Thanks everyone for coming out. We appreciate you supporting high school bowling, and this has been the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Championships.
All right, that's Jesse Nelson, always doing a fantastic job. And Jesse, as we bring it into the booth to close out the day. First of all, what a moment. Uh-oh, Alyssa needs us.
We're just wrapping up. You want to join the post-game show? No. She wants to say thank you. We want to say thank you to them. The entire staff here, everybody, I said it on the announcements, but everyone here has been so fantastic to us, welcoming, appreciative, supportive, helpful throughout the entire planning process, getting all set up yesterday, and then, of course, all the execution here today. We couldn't do it without them, and we hope that you enjoy our coverage of the Wisconsin High School Bowling State Championships here on BowlStreamTV. In large, entirely thanks to you, Emil. I just show up and do a little talking. You do the actual work here. So appreciate everything that you do to cover bowling around the country, and including here in Wisconsin every first weekend in March.
Well, I just want to say, hey, thanks. I mean, truly, I appreciate you. But, yeah, this tournament, you just never know what you're going to get, right? And from the very first shot of this morning with our singles competition, yeah, we knew the atmosphere was going to be great. And I thought the singles great bowling carried right over into team competition and obviously ended on the most positive note, specifically for Sussex Hamilton with the 278 start. I mean, what a great day. What a moment for Wisconsin High School Bowling.
Yeah, we had really fun storylines. We had some decorated veterans in their final day of bowling in their high school careers go out with a bang. We had decorated coaches get a proper send-off, and the Brunigs from Sun Prairie Girls, the girls program, winning the state championship, sending John and Cher Brunig into their fair send-off after their decorated careers. And then Sussex Hamilton, District 1 does it again. Muskego won the championship last year, and we've seen Oak Creek, and we've seen McWanago, and all these great teams from that district contend for titles year after year after year. This time it was Sussex Hamilton's turn, and to go 12 in a row in the championship match, 11 in a row in the first game, and then the first ball of game 2.
Unbelievable.
A remarkable run for the Chargers, and they're celebrating now here out on the lanes. Here at Dale's Weston Lane. Just well-deserved by all the champions today. This was a fun one, and I can't wait to see what's in store next year in Ashwaubenon.
Well, I look forward to seeing you there, and I'm looking forward to that. With that said, I think that'll do it for us today.
That'll do.
Well, Jesse, always a pleasure. Appreciate you. Great work.
Thanks, Emil.
As always, Jesse Nelson, of course, of ESPN Madison. As he mentioned on the air with the announcers, but definitely thank BCAW, Roger, Alyssa, Patrick, everybody who plays a role into this and what they do here. Classic Products, presenting sponsor this year, of course, Storm, for having Daria Pionk, who joined us. She was great. Obviously, the Wisconsin High School Bowling Club itself, the BCAW as a whole. Truly, truly remarkable what happens here at the high school level and the middle school level, for that matter.
Yeah.
Here at the BCAW. Yeah. Don't want to forget about them. And the Storm doubles that's still going to be going on, ladies and gentlemen, long after we are cleaned up here on this side of the building, 1 through 20. With that said, again, I want to thank Daria, I want to thank Jesse. My name is Emil Williams Jr. As he mentioned, singles, of course, you can watch that full broadcast live on the BowlStreamTV YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you have not. Hit the thumbs up as well. And certainly same thing here. You'll be able to watch the full replay of our team competitions, both Division I and Division II, boys and girls. So for all involved, we say so long for now. Again, for Jesse, my name is Emil Williams Jr. This has been the BCAW Wisconsin State High School Championships Team Division I and II. You watch it live and only on BowlStreamTV. We will see you next year. Good day.